What's up, Pekko?
What's up?
So we're having a little bit of a dispute, you and I. I think you've been on this podcast before.
I have never ever been on this podcast.
You know, it's very weird because I know there's a whole JQ episode interview that I did of him, and I can't find it on YouTube either. I don't know if JQ went in there and deleted it or something, but it's not there.
Yeah, but at least for sure I haven't deleted mine if I would have been. So
You know what else? We need to I'm gonna have an intervention for Max. We have to
yeah,
have he needs to come back to RC.
yeah, that's true. That is true.
You might have to be a part of that. Because we gotta get Max.
I'm not sure if I want to, but I can.
You're the younger one of these guys. You're younger than him, but you're gonna have to we're gonna have to have an intervention for him because he's so way off track. We need to bring him back to RC.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyway,
Maybe
you know
we
what?
need to break up or something.
See? Oh my goodness. Hey, I'm not getting involved in all of that. But it's gonna be all about SilverState, Philippine Masters, and JQ will join us at some point. But before we do that, we gotta hit that
Yep.
intro button.
Nitro is the glory, but E-Buggy pays the bills. Welcome to the No Name RC podcast. Get ready for some serious bench racing. But be warned, we speak our minds, express our thoughts, and sometimes things can get a little rowdy.
Hate, and he just was influenced by the hate coming from the left, the hate coming from the right, and let's get back to more club racing and less of this racing.
It's hard not to be arrogant when you're always right.
See what I mean? That's exactly why people call you arrogant, Max.
You may not agree with everything we say, but it's definitely worth a listen.
And our pick, can you stop whatever you're doing?
Join your host, Lefty the Great, with co-hosts and guests as they get together to chat RC.
Hey, after that race that I watched this morning, I have to talk about it.
Here we go. $100 right here, $100 throw. Oh no!
I like this.
Yes, indeed. Nitro's the glory, but E-Buggy pays the bills. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to show number 316. 350 more episodes than our co-hosts ever. Not this one, but the one that will join us at some point at his leisure. JQ ever thought I would do. It's been about 5 weeks since I've recorded a podcast for the NNRC podcast as I was on tour. So it's good to be back. It's good to have Pekko even in here for the second time. And first time. And then of course, JQ will be on as well when he comes on, whenever, which should be in a few minutes or whatever. So it's been quite some time. I haven't done this for a while, so I'm probably going to make some mistakes, but that's fine. We embrace those mistakes. But before we go on, I'd like to say thank you to everybody for their support. It's been a while. I had a lot of fun on my trip. Met a lot of cool, awesome people. I had a live. We talked all about that. But I just want to say thank you to everybody that I met. Have fun. Help me out. It was great. Thank you to all the NNRC squad around the world. Thank you to the patrons and YouTube members as well for your extra support. Greatly appreciate that. We can't do it without you guys. And a big shout out to our sponsors, which we have in the written description. Links, affiliate links, coupon codes. If you're just going to order from them, let them know that you heard about it on the No Name RC podcast. It definitely helps us out. First and foremost, our primary sponsor, Mr. J Concepts, had a great time at RC1. Just dropping as this comes out, we would have dropped the RC1 recap. High Tech RC, Sidewinder Fuels, Latera Racing, Invisible Speed, MO Toys, Side Piece Racing, Elite RC Productions, RC Project, Mayako, Techno RC, Beach RC, Racecraft USA, and Clinic RC. Shout out to our drivers, Mr. David Ronafalk, Robert Battier, Alexander Hagberg, Maddie G. Pekko. That's how I know you've been on her, because you can't get on the driver list.
You just added me. I haven't.
No. I have.
No, I haven't
No.
been here.
you know, you can't get on the driver's list unless you've been on the podcast.
I haven't been. I was a
You came
special
on as
one.
not as a Pekko Iivonen and host. You've been on her, but you have been a driver for some time.
Yeah, I have.
I know. We're going to introduce you in a second. We're going to introduce you. But thank you to this, guys. Happy birthday to everybody out there. It's too many to name. And I wanted to shout out somebody real quick. You might have met this guy in Philippines, but a shout out to Llewellyn Fry, aka The Wing from Australia. He has been a big supporter of the podcast for many, many years. Him and his friend, Nick. He's doing some really cool stuff with his students there in Australia. He's got them building e-buggies. He's using techno because he's a techno guy. Techno e-buggies and nitro buggies and get them to race in the classroom. Not to race, but building them and driving them. And he has a video up on YouTube which he made, and he's looking for some donations. So maybe some of these companies can send him some stuff, help him out. He's doing he's a teacher. I don't know if he's like with kids that have a little bit of a learning disability, or I'm not sure what it is, but he definitely works with maybe special needs children. Or just learning disability. And it's pretty good. I don't know if you met him, but he's a tall, skinny guy, nice guy, very soft-spoken. And he's a fan of Albie Mangles. So, he's been a friend for a long time. Check it out. I have posted the link on the NNRC, as well as my personal Facebook, and see if you can help donate some supplies to this gentleman and what he's doing. All right. So enough of my jibber jabbering. We have somebody in the co-host seat who has been talked about quite a lot on this podcast. He's very good friends with Max. I've known him over the years as well. He is one of the young Finnish guys that kind of all came up that were really fast. It was him. Well, Max is a little older, Una. And then, of course, Pekko Iivonen. What's up, Pekko?
What's up?
You know who we were missing on her? Your favorite Bermudian, Salty Joe.
That's true. That's true. We need Salty here.
He would make this epic, but it would be lots of bleeps.
That's true. He was yesterday at Mayako wrenching session.
Oh, right, because it was Tuesday, right?
Catch up with him.
That's good. He was talking to me a little bit yesterday, but I was kind of busy yesterday. But welcome to the show, Pekko. You just come off a 3-week trip.
Yep. Around the world.
Yeah, literally. Finland to Vegas to Thailand to Philippines.
Yeah.
And then Iran across Asia.
Yeah.
A janky I would say a janky JQ. Yeah, you had a janky JQ tour. Van tour. You did all the van in California.
Yeah, I was sitting in the middle seat all the time.
with like
Degani driving and JQ on my right side.
That's no fun because all three of you guys are big.
Yeah.
And that's not a lot of space in the middle seat.
That's true.
That thing didn't have a middle seat for the longest while,
Yeah, it didn't have. Degani.
You know what we used to use? An actual seat. Like a metal chair. One time, me, Mike Hill, seriously, myself, Mike Hill and his wife, we drove all the way up to Wilson, North Carolina, about a 4-hour drive and back, and got stopped by the police, and the police never saw the chair.
That's great.
I know. So you got, this is, all right, so for those of you that don't know Pekko, he's a young Finnish racer. How old are you now, Pekko?
22.
22, you're not that young. You're a grown man. You're legal in America, so that's good. You have been racing for many, many years. You race many disciplines. I think I first got to know you as a large scale. You are a large scale European champion, right?
Yeah, I am actually.
Yes. Are you going to run that race? Are you running large scale this year?
Unfortunately, not this year. I will collapse with Wicked Weekend.
Right.
Would have been
All
nice. It would have been. I missed it last year also. So.
Who do you drive for? MCD or whoever gives you a car? Okay. Do you earn cars or do they just give you rides to race?
They give me.
Right. So you don't earn one.
Probably my dad does.
Right. So you show up and just race.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you're a ringer. They do hire a lot of ringers. I talked to the guy Verkuk from Elkhorn Hobbies.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He informs me a lot on it. So you do that. You do 10 scale. You do a lot of 10 scale racing. You race for Schumacher.
Yeah.
You do touring car racing.
Yep.
As well. You've even dabbled in 1/8 on road. I've seen, but
I did
not enough.
one race, and I won it. Finnish nationals.
There you go. You beat
Timo Leino was my mechanic.
right. He's
Yeah.
yeah. He's also very good driver. But recently you've been doing a lot of 1/8 scale racing. You we got to see you come on the scene in the round 2 of RCGP back in 2022. We had some good racing. You was racing for the Mayako team. I think your best race was at the carpet track at Nemo Raceway.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, you was pissing off everybody there that weekend. You was very fast. And
That's good.
yeah, and you've kind of become JQ's new protege, I would say, but also you're working at Mayako, doing invisible speed, monitoring all that type of stuff. So you're kind of busy. And I don't know, do you have a real job as well?
No, I'm just doing this full time now.
Okay. So how long have you JQ hates this, but how long have you been racing?
How long I had been racing? I started when I was 5, so
17 years.
yeah, 17 years.
Now, have you known JQ that whole time you was racing?
No. I think I don't remember when I met him first time, because actually I started 8 scale quite late, I would say, because I was like first running touring car, then changed to a 10 scale buggy. Then actually at that time JQ was probably in US quite a lot, so he didn't do that many races.
Okay.
I think after the first year when I did 8 scale, then next year I changed to JQ racing, I think.
Yeah, because you raced the Euros in 2022 on didn't you make the final in 8 scale?
Yeah.
And
But
you
I
was on
starting
Associated.
AE. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's where we're going back in July too. So that track's been good to you.
Yeah, I'm looking forward because there was like all the results from every Euros, and now there will be my name also. So I want to see that and take a picture to my mom.
Oh yeah, where they put it up in the hallway going up to
Yeah. I hope they did it now.
I was there last year. I'm trying to think if I saw it or not. I was supposed to be
I
there 2
really
weeks
hope.
ago.
Oh yeah. But they had some problems, right?
Oh yeah. So it's going on this weekend though.
Oh yeah.
I'm supposed to call it virtually, but we'll see how that works out. But yeah, so you've been around this for a long time. So how did you meet Max and Yuna and those guys? Or was it just a natural progression as you guys were racing together?
Yeah, just natural. I think we went to some EOS together and get to know each other better. And
What's
also the
Yuna doing
Steven.
now?
Huh?
What's Yuna doing?
He's working for Rudok now. He actually moved to Germany.
Oh, okay.
It's a bit unfortunate when we are racing here, so he's not around here anymore. So that sucks a bit, but
He's got to
it's
do what
good
he's
for
got to
him.
do.
It's good for him.
Yeah. So he's full time by doing RC and then obviously probably working for Rudolph doing customer management and all that stuff. All right. Well done to him. And JQ was telling me that you took a gap year in university to chase the RC dream. How's that going?
I did. In my opinion, it has been the best year of my life for sure. The
You
dream.
have had the dream, sleeping on couches.
Yeah, that's just life. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, you're 22. You can handle it. You can handle it.
I can handle it. It's not a problem.
So I guess what are some of your other accomplishments in RC besides the Euros? You've made the finals at Euros. What's your best finish in 10 scale at a Euros?
5th in 4WD. Yeah,
Okay.
at Robin Hood. That was nice.
Ooh, that was a while ago. Or that was the year the whole one?
It was the same year, 2022.
Yeah. A lot of young guys did really good. That's the same year that whole and that's a good result. But lots of 8 scale over the last year and a half. And lots of traveling with JQ. You've been all over Europe. In fact, we was just talking just now. You was like, over the next 17 weeks, 15 weeks of them are races.
Yeah. That is
You,
true.
you are coming to the nationals as well to
Yeah.
mechanic Cav.
Mechanic for Cav.
Also spy on Thornhill, I assume. Get some tips about Thornhill.
Yeah, I think that will be good to see the track and see how it is.
Yeah, I wanted to go to the nationals myself, but was not. It's just not. I'm staying home. I gotta stay here for a little bit.
And it's
So
1 week. It's like the Euros here. It's crazy.
yeah, but they're running 4 classes.
Yeah, but still.
It's more than 150 entries, dude. It's like freaking almost 200 plus.
Yeah. I think there was like 400 or something. It was
Yeah,
crazy.
but that's each class. That's what
yeah,
each class.
like, still.
Still, that's fucking.
But actually, I checked the schedule. It was nice because they run like E-Buggy and those Truggies before and then Nitro at the end of the week.
Truggy, dude. Truggy is the fastest growing class in RC.
That's the bashing class.
It is not bashing. It is.
It is.
They are awesome. They are
They're
awesome.
overpowered, you know?
That's what makes them awesome. Have you driven one?
It's like Traxxas ones.
Have you driven one?
No,
You should. You'd be like, okay, I understand why they're so fun.
maybe someday.
For people like me, for guys like me who are old and can't drive,
Yeah, for sure. Truggy is easy to drive, so for sure it's good.
you might have to race it at the E-Buggy Worlds because that's what you're training for as well.
E-Buggy Worlds. I don't have to run E-Truggy for them.
Yes.
No, it's not the same.
Yeah, but you get extra track time. They're actually thinking about. I know they were thinking of making it an exhibition class at the E-Buggy class at the E-Buggy World. I just say make it a Worlds. It's that popular.
No, they just run E-Buggy there.
No, cut down 2 trees with 1 saw. If you do that, then that's less travel. Because it's eventually going to happen. Come on, man. You got to get over the Truggy hate. All right.
I mean, Nitro Truggy is nice.
Yeah, but that's dying.
Nah.
It is on a big race scale. The entries for Nitro Truggy is going down and down because E-Truggy is just because people want that second class.
Yeah, and it's easier.
Third class and just plug and play.
Yeah.
So, all right. Anyway, enough about that. Let's talk about your last 3 weeks on the road. Oh, is JQ ready to come on? I don't know. I see him with he might be just on there lurking in the background. You've been on the road for the last 3 weeks. You went to your first SilverState. You went to your first Philippine Masters with JQ.
Yeah.
You got to go out and do the whole. I don't know. You didn't really get too much of it at DNC, but you got to go out to California, practice a couple of days for that because you're out a week early.
Yeah.
Maybe catch us up on a little bit of that because it is very interesting. I know how JQ does his travel, so I know how frustrating it can be and how unorganized it is. And
I'm quite chill. I don't care. I'm just if we have a place to sleep, it's fine. I don't care if it's booked 30 minutes earlier or 1 day earlier. It doesn't matter. It's just
that's just me. That's what's janky. That's why I've been through that so much.
It's
but
funny.
It is.
It's more like you live on the edge.
Hey, there's been a night we couldn't find a hotel.
Yeah, I can even.
How's that living on the edge?
Never happened.
It happened to us one night. It happened to me and Mike Hill one night. I found a hotel late night. Yeah, but anyway, you get out to California, you spend some time at Greg's, you guys go traveling around, practicing, I guess. Where did you get to practice at?
We went to first day, we went to Revelation, then we spent a couple days at Paris. And then I had my first ever US club race at Hot Rod. It was super nice. I liked it.
You went Tuesday night?
No, that was Saturday night.
Okay.
It was nice. I beat Cav and I won.
In Nitro Buggy? Or
E-Buggy? Nitro Buggy. Ooh. It was nice. I liked it. And then
Hot Rods is nice.
Yeah, it was actually. I was surprised because I saw the track is super small, but the layout was nice and it was actually pretty cool to drive.
Yeah, and they got a good turnout on their club nights and stuff like that.
Yeah, there was.
And you beat Cav. Ooh, so
Yeah.
you beat Cav the entire trip, to be honest. So that's where it started. So you go over to Vegas. Tell us about your SilverState.
SilverState was nice. E-Buggy, I made the main.
Mm-hmm.
My transponder cut off middle run. I think I finished like 11th, but of course didn't count because I didn't have my transponder. I think I was at some point I was up to 6th or something, but I made a couple mistakes, hit some bumps or something.
Well, there's plenty of bumps.
Lost, yeah, there was, but I actually not as much as in DNC. I would say that was better than DNC.
You had a good Nitro qualifier too. You finished 5th.
Yeah, I had good. Yeah, I finished 5th on the first one. Then I completely blew it out.
What was your biggest issue with SilverState?
I think the issue with these races for me is that you don't have any like warm up before the run. It starts straight away, so it's pretty hard to get into the car like in half a lap, and it's like I'm not used to that, so it gets some time to get in, and yeah, and also the way of racing is a bit different. It's like no rules and stuff like that, so that's a bit hard. Like for example, in the second qualifier in Nitro, I got behind some guy, he didn't let me through, and then he made a mistake, and I got tangled up with him. I lost. I actually lost the straight main position by like couple hundreds or something. So, but also I blew it out in the second. Like I made a mistake on the last lap, and it was a bit stupid. So that's racing.
Yeah, but that's you gotta. I tell all my European friends when they come over, you gotta put your elbows out in the States. Like you gotta.
Yeah, that's
you gotta
true.
be
That's
more
true.
aggressive.
That's true.
So-
And I kind of did at DNC, so I know like how it is. You have to be like bit. You have to have different attitude when going racing there.
Yeah, and I think Max. I don't know if Max is right about this, but he says you're more of a smooth, high grip track type of guy as well. I don't know if you're developing to more of a rough track guy.
In my opinion, I like these loose tracks more because it's more like stress-free driving because you don't have to be like on point 100%. You don't have to like be consistent like every corner. You can be like the driving is more chill, I would say.
Yeah, because there's many different lines, right?
Yeah, and it's like it's not that hectic. Like when you like Philippine Masters wasn't that bad, but like for example, Worlds in Red One or the track in Portugal, it's like super. It has so much grip. Even a small mistake, hitting a pipe or something, it's a big mistake.
I get that. So you can make up. I think that's one of the reasons I like the rougher tracks, and they make for a little better. Well, they didn't. Well, I mean, Mason Fuller walked away with it, so everybody was
they did.
racing for second.
Yeah, that's true.
But you have different lines. You can make mistakes. People make mistakes.
Yeah,
and that makes it fun. I mean, I like both of them, but then again, I don't like a runaway like we saw at the Worlds either.
Yeah.
That I don't like that. But
Yeah,
both-
I like also both. It's I like whatever.
yeah, whatever's gonna provide good racing, I'm good with.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
did you go to Montpellier? Yes, you guys did go to
Yeah, I
Montpellier.
did. Yeah, we did, but we left early because it was
Yeah.
looking like it's raining.
That's another a good track. I really like that race.
Yeah,
I wish
I liked it. I think the layout wasn't that good
okay.
like it used to be, but that was fun.
At least they're changing the layout every year.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
They're one of the few European permanent tracks that do it.
Yeah.
So, I know they're going to change the track a little bit for the Euros at Barcelos, and then they're going to change it again.
Yeah, they have
for
to.
Truggy. They have to. It's so hard to change those tracks, man.
I don't
They
think so.
they got so much glue on them, dude.
Yeah, but when
They have
it
to get
tears
through the glue.
apart, then it's just a pile of like sand.
Yeah, they have to get through that glue, like soften
Yeah.
it up, then like that dirt's been kind of, it's like almost like concrete out there.
Yeah,
But yeah, so Silver State was good. What do you think about? I want to ask you this. Uh, Obviously, I talked to JQ and he was like, "Yeah, it's going pretty good out here. Lots of fans, lots of people coming up. I think mostly for Invisible Speed. You guys created quite a stir with the Laydown shocks, which I've seen before on the JQ cars. I don't know why
yeah,
people are freaking out about that. JQ will probably talk more about that. But you go to this race, you have fun. We're starting to see a lot more Europeans come over to this race, while they always came. Europeans have won this race many times, but it was the weekend of Mason Fuller. I mean, I've been geeking out on Mason Fuller for many years. He finally gets this big Nitro win. Not only does he do that, he sweeps the entire weekend.
yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
It was amazing. It was like watching him drive. You can see like everything coming together. Engine is perfect. Car is perfect. Driver is perfect. It's like it was like he was on another level, like in every class. Even so, I think he wasn't TQ in Truggy or something, but then he just
It
beat
decimated this
everyone.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just crazy.
Yeah, I think he's beat these guys in E-Buggy and Truggy for years and finished
Yeah,
second, third, top 5 in Nitro Buggy.
yeah.
I think he
And
just needed to get
I
one win.
think, I think Techno wasn't good at this race.
No.
Car looked bad. It wasn't
Joao
good.
was their top dracer, top techno guy in the
It
Nitro Buggy.
didn't look good. And I was racing Techno Truggy, and it for sure it wasn't the best.
Which is weird because they're usually good at these races.
Yeah, that's true. But it was something. I think someone said that they have had problems on tracks like this, which are small, and you need to have rotation, and you need to drive the Techno cars a bit weirdly. It's like I don't like the feeling of the cars.
Well, I mean, you got a chance to drive them. The truck, even I was really surprised with the truck because the truck usually
Yeah, that's true.
dominates these things.
I think
And-
like after qualifying, best Techno was 6th or something.
yeah.
It's
So
crazy.
not a good weekend. And on my if we were to do biggest losers, winners and losers of this race, chassis wise, Techno would be on my loser because
Yeah, for
they're
sure.
I was expecting them at least to win truck. And with so many truck drivers. But them S-Works cars put a spanking on them this
Yeah.
weekend. That weekend.
And also, I was surprised about the Sparko cars. They look
With
good also.
Wilson.
Yeah,
Yeah. Jonah Wilson's a good driver, dude.
Yeah.
Very good driver. And uh well, what we're seeing is these younger guys, they're a little younger than you, but they're not scared anymore. They're coming after these guys. So now
Yeah.
Mason Fuller has that confidence. Jonah Wilson's building that confidence. And even his brother, Caden Fuller, did pretty good as well.
yeah, he did.
So it's going to be interesting. I think we're starting to see a slight changing of the guard. I went to the INS race the weekend you was in Philippine Masters,
Yeah,
and it was good because we had controversy and all that type of stuff. But what I really noticed is that for the first time in a long time, we have a very highly competitive mod class in the USA. Like it's not just Spencer Rifkin and Fenn. There's some Brock Champlin sprinkled in. Yes, those guys are still probably top echelons, top. But then you have a guy. Look at JQ. Is he messaging you?
I don't know.
You have guys like Chase Lemieux, Davey Bottas getting faster. Schimmel's fast as fuck. So there's
Yeah,
a
that was a good race.
Yeah, good
Also,
drama.
the interview was amazing.
You like that?
Yeah, I like that.
I thought
Are you like thinking about boxing career or what?
Oh, you
I
like
saw
me?
I saw your left swing.
You know, I'm sure you know who I know has that on replay right now.
Salted
They
Joe.
got it. No,
Oh, they
and
got it?
Salty Joe. I'm
Yeah.
surprised Salty Joe hasn't copied it and sent it to me. Degani is infatuated with my arm.
I know. He gave you that nickname.
I know.
He told
He's
me the
still,
story.
and he watches it like when I'm on TV and when I'm on TV. Like, I saw your arm, and it was doing this, and it was doing that. I had some people ask me, like, "What's wrong with that guy's arm?" I'm like, wow, it's fucking paralyzed, like 75. Well, I thought it was epic. I think we need to let these guys express themselves, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Express themselves. So I think JQ's ready. But before we bring him in, I need to pay some bills here. So we're gonna do that. And that was a great. Pekko, it's good to have you on. I know you're not going anywhere, but we're bringing JQ on, and it's probably gonna be less about you. But I'm really impressed with you over the last couple years and what you've done. I've gotten to know you. Hanging out with JQ, becoming his handler, doing what I used to do. Look at him. He looked at me just I said that. I know how that frustrating is, but you're young enough to deal with it. And you're Finnish. You can F him off in multiple languages.
Yeah, that's true.
He kind of understands you better in Finnish. Probably does. Well, let me get ready to bring him in. Before I do that, I would like to pay some bills. Shout out to High Tech RC for all the support. I know a lot of those guys at Joe Knoll, which is a big fly-in race there in South Carolina, which I'm going to try and go to next year. Looking for top-tier performance and reliability in your RC setup, High Tech RCD has you covered with industry-leading chargers, servers, and everything else for both surface and air applications. Whether you're bashing, racing, or taking to the skies, High Tech's advanced technology delivers precision, power, and durability when you need it most. From high-tech servers to smart, efficient charging solutions, trust High Tech to keep you in control. High Tech, powering passion, elevating performance. Visit hightechrcd.com. Today, you can purchase items directly off their website. I just got myself some of their new camo servers to put in my rigs. Also, a big shout out to Side Piece and Latera Racing, two hobby shops, one in the USA, online shops, and one there in Sweden. Elevate your RC experience with the sidepiece.racing.com, North America's exclusive distributor for top tier brands like Automatics, Rocher, Wild Turbofan, Montec Racing, Corsa Phoenix Racing, and Real Speed. So all you onward guys, you want to get some awesome Addict stuff, check them out. Whether you're seeking precision engineering car kits, high performance batteries, or aerodynamic bodies, we have got you covered. Enjoy fast shipping, exceptional customer service, ensuring that you get the best gear when you need it. Visit sidepieceRacing.com and race ahead of the competition. Also, let them know you heard about it on the No Name RC podcast. And a shout out to our friends over there in Sweden. Step up your RC racing with Latera Racing, one of Sweden's premier hobby shops and tracks dedicated to racers, featuring brands such as X-Ray, Hobbywing, Zoo Racing, and Coyote. We provide everything you need from precision chassis to high-performance electronics. Whether you're at the track or upgrading your setup, Latera Racing caters to racers who demand the best. Visit latera.se or stop by our shop and track for the ultimate RC experience. Latera Racing, built for winners. I wonder if Mr. Q is ready to come in. I'm waiting for the thumbs up. I see him there. JQ, are you ready? You're muted, dude.
Only if I have to be. Oh.
What's up, JQ? I'm excited to see you.
Well,
somewhat. Maybe I'm not going to be
nice.
after the podcast.
I don't know. What did you talk?
Well, we talked about you and your janky internet because
Oh,
it just
fuck.
kind of dropped again, but it's all
Because
right.
I'm doing a few things here still.
Maybe you should shut your computer on and focus.
Yeah. That's
Like
why I
you was
said,
all wrapped up and hyped up earlier. Let's bring that energy back, JQ.
all right, I need to finish something first.
Did you take your medicine?
I did.
Now you're
If I
calm.
finish this, then I'll actually feel better. You know that. You know how that works.
Right. We'll continue talking with Pekko then. So, Pekko, back to SilverState. Mason Fuller, we both agree. Look, now he goes. We both agree. Mason Fuller we waited all that time and we got to still talk about it. Mason Fuller was impressive. I tell people all the time that I think that what Mason Fuller done is going to go down in like one of the best, most dominating weekends of any race ever. Yes, Mayfield has swept DNC and stuff like that before, but to sweep all four classes, and it's going to be interesting to see what he does.
Left everyone, I think.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Yeah.
That's impressive. It was coming though. I mean, he should have won DNC Nitro Buggy. Should have, but he made that mistake.
A couple of mistakes.
He did, and you can't make mistakes at that level at all.
No.
So, especially now, the racing is getting so close, and the fuel mileage is getting so much better. So you guys hang out in Vegas, and then rip grass, haul ass, and on a plane over to Philippines.
Yep.
Now, tell us about that. First time ever over in Asia for you, ever in a country like that?
No, I was in Asian for TITC, but it was
Oh,
first time at Philippines. Yeah.
okay. So you've been to Thailand before.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that. First impressions of Philippines.
I liked it. It was really nice. I was a bit unfortunate because we didn't have time to see the place. Like we only saw the track and the places we went to eat. So it was a bit unfortunate that we didn't have time to check. Like I would have really wanted to go to the jungle and see some places, but it
Yeah,
didn't happen.
if you're gonna go that way, it's worth taking that extra week to hang there. I would say because it's cheap enough where you can.
Yeah,
eat.
it is super cheap, but it's just there's no time for a week now.
Yeah, because what? Yeah, I wouldn't even want to know.
Tight.
Yeah, that's true. But did you try any of the Red Horse beer? It was in the red cans. It's strong, very strong.
I think I did. It wasn't that good.
It's sweet, like it's strong, super strong.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't care about the strongness. It's just more the taste.
I think it's at your age, isn't it? Reverse. I don't care about the taste. I just care about how much alcohol's in it.
You have that?
You, when I was your age. So Philippines, completely different track. It's not going to
Yeah.
be there next year, I'm told.
I think Oki said that it will move like next, like the place where it was before,
Oh,
like at RCGP, I think.
so it's not. It's still going to be the same type of track, but just moved.
Yeah. Actually, I
but
really
what's the
liked it.
second time?
It was nice. These other tracks are, I would say, they are better than the glued ones because the car still like forgives a bit, and it doesn't like if you go too hard, it doesn't flip over. It more slides, like
Really, I was going to ask about that. So, what was the type of tires and stuff compounds you using?
I
'Cause
was
it's hot.
using Six Make Blue Dash.
Now, did ball tires work as well?
What?
Did like no tires when they got bald? Did they work as well?
Actually, I wasn't wearing down the tires that much, so
Mm,
didn't have like I didn't run bolt tires at any time. I think, but I think they could have.
right. So I guess what you're saying, because when the glue track is when a glue track is new, it has too much grip, right?
Yeah, they
And your car traction rolls, and then eventually as cars and nitro oil gets in, it gets
Yeah.
to a point where it gets
oily,
greasy.
and then you can run clay tires. Then it's quite nice, actually. I would say.
Yeah, but the oil track kind of has that sensation that you were
Straight
looking
away,
for
yeah.
in the glue track straight away.
Yeah, straight away.
Now, does it have any dust on the side or pebbles or anything like that?
But not too bad. That was
Okay.
quite good. And I think the layer of the oil was so thick that there like dust is not coming up from the like if you dig a hole.
Right, because it must go down a few inches.
Yeah.
You know,
This was like
and
probably 1 meter.
probably because they probably just soaks into the fucking ground.
That was like rubber when you were at the track.
Oh, so when you walked on it was kind of spongy.
Yeah, it was.
That means it's very good.
Yeah,
Very
it
good.
was. I liked it.
It must be so hell when it must be so slippery when it rains though.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Interesting. Whole different culture over there. You got to experience paid tire marshals this year.
That
tell
was
us,
actually a bit weird. It's
really.
like because when you're walking down from the driver's, what I'm gonna do now? Like it's weird to just walk down and not go to Marshall.
You get to work on your car.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh.
It was nice. It was nice to have the Marshalls for sure, but it was just a bit weird, in my opinion.
So track was completely different from SilverState. Very different from SilverState. Tell us about that. And this kind of fits more of the narrative where I think you're at your best.
Yeah, I think we have so many setups, and actually we have an oil track in Estonia, so it's not that far away. They got it up last year. It's actually amazing place. And yeah, we kind of knew that what the setup will go. And actually, like Jaden was already practicing there on Monday, from Monday, or maybe already on the weekend. I'm not sure, but yeah. So basically, we knew which way to go with the setup. So I made the setup changes already after DNC. After SilverState. Like the car was almost ready to hit the track when we came to Manila. And it's a bit hard because it's also a bit hard because you lose a day when you're flying that way. You want the funny thing was that actually JQ's birthday was the day that we lost, so he never had his birthday.
I did forget about his birthday. Happy
This is
belated
true.
birthday, JQ.
But he missed it. You don't have to greet him.
So he didn't age.
Yeah,
Yeah, we took off the 28th of April, landed the 30th of April. Our birthday is the 29th of April.
41, dude, in your 42nd year, or are you really?
I don't know.
That you missed it.
I got asked for my ID when I bought beer.
You
December
do
last year.
No, great.
I'll never forget. I wrote down the date. In America, it's normal. In America, I got ID'd, but I don't count it because I don't know. America's weird that way. But in Finland, if someone asks for your ID, it's legit.
Yeah, I could imagine that. Are you here with us for the rest of the podcast now, or
now I am? Yeah, right.
Okay. Well, thank you for blessing us with your presence. We appreciate
You're welcome.
Good to see you here. We'll continue on. We'll talk about the Philippine Masters race. Did you? Because, and then I'll ask your opinion on Fuller and SilverState later. But let's continue on with the Philippine race. So, Jake, you've been to this race many times. What are you laughing at?
I just opened the can.
Oh shit!
It's not.
Now
big.
I know it's really gonna get good. What are you drinking?
And they don't endorse me, so I don't endorse them.
Oh, okay.
Secrets.
Okay, this means we're gonna have a good
Okay.
one. So you guys get there. What this type of track? This is a very Asian track. I'm trying to bring up some video of it now. Pekko, what are your thoughts going into this? I mean, you don't have nothing like this in Europe, and you haven't raced on anything like this. So oil track. Besides the oil, tell us just about the layout.
And the layout was actually, I liked it.
I'm sure you did.
It was quite smooth and not too tight. I liked it. It had a good flow.
But you had to. It seemed like it was the continuous. You never got to rest at all. You had to continuously find your lines. And
my car was so good that I could rest all the time.
Oh, really? Well, let's talk about that. What type of changes did you make to the car? Because everybody was talking about the Laydown fucking shocks, and JQ is here, so we might as well talk about it. Which isn't a surprise to me because I remember you doing this on the JQ Black Edition.
I mean, the funny thing was that this would have been the first race to run the car, but JQ tested it at Paris, and it was straight away better than the E-Buggy we had. So then we decided to run it at SilverState, and it was already super good at SilverState. And funny enough, it was going the bumps better than we thought, and it was actually going through the bumps better than the normal car. So that was nice, and we already knew that coming to the Philippine Masters, the car will be even better there. It was super good.
Yeah, we're looking at the Nitro Buggy A final. You had what type of diff oils were you running her? Like how heavy?
We had 50k in front, 100k in the middle, and 50k in the rear.
Okay, so it wasn't as crazy as Redovon, where you guys are running in the hundreds.
No, but it's less grip here than in Redovon. It's a bit different.
JQ, your thoughts on the track and layout as you've been to this layout before, you've been to the previous layout. What were your thoughts on this?
I actually raced this time. I haven't raced the previous times, but this time I raced the E-Buggy because it was the laydown setup, as you said. So I figured I needed to test it. And I actually really enjoyed the layout. It was fun. And it was the kind of layout where you could make up time on on other drivers by taking bigger risks. And I always like layouts where you can do that. Yeah, you can do the big jump, but even other sections where you just attack a bit more than what's sort of safe, I would say.
Okay.
For example, the last chicane after the back section, there's this sort of single chicane thing. If you risked it, you could go very fast, but it was also a higher chance that you would crash. And then this section coming up on the video was a jump and then going to the back section and flowing back, sort of skipping over the pipe in a chicane. This section also, if you got it just right, you could gain time. The safe line you could do every lap, but if you pushed a bit more, either you would make a mistake or you could gain time. So I like tracks that are like this. Easy enough to drive around, but then if you are a really good driver or if you need to catch someone and you take some risks, you can go faster.
Yeah, we saw that with Ongaro. I'm actually going to bring that up here in a second. With Ongaro's race against Pekko in A1 of E-Buggy. Maybe you can go into a little bit about the shock design, because I know this caused quite a stir at SilverState. I had Mike Onke from VRP messaging me saying, "Oh, I wish people would." He was even like getting tired of getting message saying that this was a VRP car or whatever, that you copied VRP.
And I was like, about it?
He was just like, giving. It's like, tell JQ he needs to do this. He was giving advice, right? What you need to do. He was just like, I understand why he's doing it, and I'm doing it. He wasn't pissed off. He was just like, I wish people would stop saying he's copying, because he's not, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, because JQ did this whole Laydown shock thing. I remember with the 100 in JQ Racing Black Edition days.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Jesus Christ. That was before the Australia Worlds. I did that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So JQ, it was a little bit after that, because I remember people wanted them so bad.
And Chris
was trying.
I was in the Philippines before the Australia Worlds, and I made some parts and I tested it, and then all of the 100 got the parts, I think, after the Worlds. Maybe that was the case. But anyway, that actually makes what I'm about to say even more credible. I mean, I know it's true, but you know how people are. So I'll tell the real story behind this. Before JQ ever existed, I used to race for Hobao. Then I wanted to be a designer. I wanted a job in the industry. And Hobao said that, okay, the next car you will be involved in the design of. And they had the 8.5 at the time. But then they just, I guess, forgot about that. And Off9 America designed the Hyper 9. So I quit. And then I didn't really have a plan. I tried to find a company to work with. One of those companies was Ishima. And when I joined, they had this car with super Laydown shocks. And there were many issues with the car, but I knew that shock setup is actually really good. So I knew back then that this is something worth doing. But the problem we have, there's kind of two sides to this. One side is, if you do something different, people are reluctant to jump on board unless it's winning the biggest races. Now, I knew I wasn't going to have a good enough driver to win any big races, and I didn't want to be too much of a sort of circus show side act. So I figured, okay, I need to make a relatively normal looking car. Second thing, I felt that I needed to make a normal car that was as good or better than the rest before I did something different, because then I would know that now I'm on the level of everyone else. Now I can improve it from here. Because if I didn't do it that way, then maybe I would have a car that's as good or better than the rest, but there are many very basic things that are off, and the different thing about the car is making it better. Do you see what I mean? So this was my thinking all along, but it just took me almost 20 years to get to this point. Like, I mean, I have known this the whole time, but I have purposely not done it. And it's been close. So with the Black Edition, like you said, I made those parts to begin testing, but it never happened because I scrapped JQ Racing. Mayako replaced it. Then with Mayako, we were in the same situation. Okay, well, we have to make a normal car that's good and people have a good perception and view of it. That's what we did. With Ronnefalk, I would argue if Ronnefalk had stuck around, we would have done this sooner. He knew about it. He had seen it. When Robert joined 2023, he drove it, a Nitro version of this. So this has been around behind the scenes the whole time. We just haven't made it. Well, then Ronnefalk left. Then we had Robert and Thibaut, and there never was this good situation, good place where we knew that, okay, we can now make this. We are going to have a really good car and we can get really good results. We've never been in that position, but now I feel that we are. And well, thankfully, Pekko proved that that's right. Like now we are in this situation where the standard Mayako car is extremely capable in regular hobby drivers, beginners, mid-level racers, top drivers. It's capable on all levels. It has really good basic setups. And we have a driver in Pekko who can challenge the best in the world. And also he is in a position where he can dedicate himself full time to this. So this is now our opportunity to do this. This is our opportunity to develop the car to its full potential and then reap the rewards of that. Do you understand what I'm explaining? Like it's been something that we haven't done because I haven't seen that we would benefit fully from doing it.
And it costs money to do this.
Yeah, time and money and effort. And I think this is also an ADHD thing. I mean, yes, now that I know I have it, I understand a number of things better. One thing is, if I'm not interested, I'm not motivated. And it has nothing to do with money or credit or any kind of, it's something that comes from within. And for me, what motivates me is racing, competition, doing well. When we had Ronnefalk, he was a driver that could win any race. I was motivated. We developed the car. We did all kinds of things. And if he had stayed, we would have done this. When he left, I lost motivation too.
Mm-hmm.
And I withdrew from Mayako for a while and was doing invisible speed. But now we have Pekko, right? And he's really motivated. He has the talent, and now I can see he actually can do it. And so now I'm motivated again. Now it's worth doing these things. So that's kind of
understand that. I understand that. So I guess my next question would be, could you briefly explain the theory and brief physics behind the Laydown shocks? And I guess, how is this facilitated differently than it was on the Black Edition that I remember? Because in the Black Edition, I remember was basically shock towers, and then you're trying to find different shock ends and all that type of stuff to use. So what does this entail now? You're muted, dude. You're muted.
Did you mute me?
I did not. You muted yourself.
I did mute myself.
Oh my goodness. You forgot how to do this.
I don't know.
I know you're trying to think. You don't want to reveal too much. I know you want to keep some secrets. I'll give you an example. You know how like you were the first person to talk about KPI? Now fucking everybody's talking about KPI.
I don't care about that too much. I worried about it before I did my YouTube videos and course and book and all that. But now I don't really care anymore. Because you can share absolutely everything, but it's not about knowing the things. It's about knowing how to apply them and when. And there are endless combinations. So it's like giving all the ingredients to a cake, but not giving the amounts and how to prepare it in which order. You know, you can just give all the ingredients. It doesn't matter. Like, they aren't going to recreate the cake.
That's a good example.
Yeah.
So tell us some theory
Anyway,
about the shocks.
So one thing is, the main thing really is that the thing that's limiting us in off-road is the center of gravity being so high. And it's unnecessarily high for us, especially on our modern tracks. They're all groomed, oiled, glued, smooth. We would really benefit from having a lower center of gravity. Our tracks are more like on-road tracks now. So that's one thing. Another is lighter weight. A lighter car will be faster with the correct tires and setup. That's physics. It's 101. In real racing, they have penalty weights where they make the racing closer by giving the winner extra weight to carry around the track to slow them down. I mean, if you go faster by adding weight, there's something wrong. So lower center of gravity, lighter weight. And then for the suspension geometry, it's not just done because of that. It's also because on our cars, we have a tendency of the front not having enough pack, the front slapping, the front being too soft when you are pushing the car hard, the front not supporting the car enough. And then the rear, again, having too much pack or bouncing or feeling too stiff. So then it leads us to set a suspension which feels firm in the front and soft in the rear. And that again makes the car not stay flat and level when you're driving around the track. So we are always like trying to find this perfect world where we have a car that remains very level around the track, has a good feeling, not too responsive, can be pushed hard, and when needed, has suspension travel. So it's an impossible goal to have, but we can move closer to it, I think. So with this suspension, we have the same shocks front and rear. The front, we can move further out on the arm when you lay it down and raise it up. Otherwise, the wheel, when you turn the wheel, it would hit the shock. But because it's up above the arm and further out, it won't contact the wheel when you turn. So the front end is firmer. The front end supports the car better. Then on the rear, we have shorter shocks, lower piston speed, a very similar geometry to the new front geometry. And this makes it possible to run a firmer setting so that the car stays more flat. When you accelerate out the corners, you push it hard, the car stays flat, yet it doesn't have too much pack because the piston speed is lower. So it's moving the front geometry in a better direction and moving the rear geometry in a better direction, and both actually being very close to the same geometry. That's kind of the thinking behind it. And I think one of the reasons that this quote unquote hasn't worked before is that when you change this, you also need different springs. You can't run the same springs really. And you also have to do the geometry correctly. There's not one way of doing it, but you have to match the front and rear so it makes sense and the car is balanced and it works. So there's more to it than just laying the shocks over. Everything's way it is for a reason, and you have to make springs to match, and you have to figure out what pistons and oils to run with that. But I think that the fact that I just guesstimated everything, made 3 different springs, and we ended up running the softest and the middle hardness. And we ran, I don't know, 4 different pistons maybe. But at SilverState, we ran the one we started with. And in Philippines, we ended up with the one we started with also, even though we tried different ones. I think that already proves that there's a lot more potential. When we develop more pistons, more springs, try slightly different shock positions, there's a lot more performance to be gained from this setting. And I can already tell you that just like KPI or what was the other thing, like diff height adjustment, these are things which other brands will end up making because it's that much better.
So I have a question. What would you say to people who say, like, what about the Agama N1 Laydown shocks? What makes this different?
The Agama, I think that they marketed it by saying that they are lowering the center of gravity, but in fact, they are raising the entire shock above the gearbox and all the mounting hardware and everything. So I'm not sure it actually lowers the center of gravity a lot. It changes the handling though, because they have a lot shorter stroke and shorter shock than even this setting that we made now. So it's still, I would say that the Agama is one step further from what this is compared to a normal suspension geometry. And I don't think that it has the same amount of benefit because of the way it's designed. There's a 10 scale car that hasn't been released, which has a rocker arm sort of suspension setup, which is, I think, comparable to what Agama have done, but they put the shocks on the chassis. That I would say, okay, now we're talking. Now you are clearly lowering the center of gravity, and you can play around with the stroke of the shock. That would be interesting. So honestly, like if I'm completely honest, the VRP conversion for the Agama would be the way to go for Agama. And I mean, I'm sure people who have driven both can chime in, but I would suppose that it's actually an improvement.
Pekko, as a top driver, and you was mentioned quite a lot in this. What do you notice driving this car? Have you had much time on the Nitro side of things? Did you guys try it, or tell us what the difference you feel in these two cars and these two different designs on these two different tracks?
We still haven't had time to try it on Nitro. We will during this summer. And yeah, in E-Buggy, it's just more flat. On a high speed, it just goes through the bumps. Actually, Spencer Rifkin has a nice video about this. When JQ was going up the hill after the straightaway, his car was like going so well up the hill, super flat, super smooth. Then Brent was behind of him, and the car was just all over the place and jumping around. And yeah, I would say the car, it was surprising that the car went through the bumps super good at SilverState. And when we were practicing, we were surprised of that. And just in Manila, it was just perfect, I would say. Just it doesn't dive too much, goes flat around the corner. The steering is super consistent. You don't have to steer all the way. You still have some steering left when you are like in the corner. You can correct the car. It's like super easy to drive and still fast.
Okay.
Yeah, that's actually one of the goals. And one thing, okay, this is a learning moment. Okay. One thing that I have been trying to get Pekko to understand is that he shouldn't settle. Like Ronnefalk actually has this same issue. Okay. And back before the Euros that Ronnefalk won, we didn't settle, but we solved this issue. And the issue is that a talented driver can drive a difficult car fast. Okay. But they have to accept that it's not good enough, right? Just because they can drive the car around the track and they can be fast or they can TQ, that's not good enough. And I think some top drivers, that's why they fail in the mains. Because when they are driving alone, they're fine. Then when they have to battle, or it's the last lap of a race, that's when it matters that is the car hard to drive or not. And the way that we would test this with Ronne Falk, and now I do with Pekko also, is I drive the car. Because if I can't string a couple of fucking laps together, it's too hard to drive, really. Like, I need to be able to just take the radio and drive the car and be okay. It has to be like that. If I can't do it, then it's too hard to drive. So I've many times done this with Pekko, and then I'm like, okay, so what do you think? How do you think your car is? And then he's like, oh, it's okay or whatever. I say, what about the rear? Like, I was pretty much skating out there. Like, oh, well, maybe we could have more rear grip, you know? So I've been trying to get this in his head that the car has to be comfortable and easy to drive. So the best thing about this was, so on the Monday after the race, Cavalieri drove Pekko's car and I drove it. And I thought that it would be hard to drive, like I couldn't drive it, but it was actually better than mine in the race. And I did my best lap. I did a good 5-minute time. So that to me is the most impressive thing, that Pekko was able to be very fast, but it was easy enough where I was able to drive it. And then that's how I understood why he was able to withstand the pressure in the race. The car was forgiving enough where he felt comfortable and he didn't make those critical mistakes in the mains. So this is something that I think drivers should focus on more, making the car still fast, but forgiving enough where a decent driver can pick up the radio and immediately feel comfortable and drive around the track.
So let's bring up the A final that everybody's been talking about. This is from the RC Race Media guys. And we'll start it there. And then JQ, you want to go right to the last lap, right? So let me get going on this. Why did they only do?
Did you see how many views the clip had?
I have not. How many does it have?
It's actually crazy. Like, I think all in all, it has like 900,000 views.
Nice.
It's great. It's nice.
All right. So last lap. Let me find that. Well done.
Last lap. All right. Can we talk about the first lap also?
Sure. Go ahead.
I was so nervous. I don't know why. It took so long to get the race started. So I got like all nervous the first.
Did JQ?
Then I got everything together.
I'm sorry, I muted you by mistake. What was that? You got nervous?
I muted you by nervous because I don't know why it took so long to get the race running. It was like we were sitting on the grid like for 1 minute or something. I got super nervous and I lost like 2 seconds on the first lap to Ongaro.
Did JQ have to walk you off the cliff?
No.
All right, I
got everything together and then that was fun.
All right, so this is the last couple of laps here. We got Ongaro. Ongaro's in the all white, right?
Yeah.
Did you just have a 1K paint job, or did he change his paint?
A bit. He changed it a bit.
He's always changing his paint scheme.
Yeah. Oh, so, I did also.
Yeah,
it was my first time for some time. Changed the whole scheme, actually.
All right. Well, talk us through this. Who wants to go? JQ, do you want to talk us through this? Let me know where you want me to pause.
Driving, so.
Pekko, talk us through this last lap. There you go.
I was just driving. Nothing weird. Actually, this was funny, the jump. Because before the first kicker, I didn't even think about it. I was like, uh-oh. Like landing here, I was like, uh-oh. Then the funny thing is that here on this jump, I just overshoot it a bit and jumped to the left, like by mistake. It wasn't like I was doing it. There was a mistake from me. So I had a perfect angle to go into the corner. And this was a full Degani pass, pluck pass. I have seen Degani do that like every race. I have been pitting for him, so that was full Degani mode. But yeah, this was just a mistake from me, and then I shoot it into the corner, and it worked out. It was nice, but it's unfortunate because you cannot see the block pass like from this angle. So
And you know what? So I was standing on the left side of the driver's stand, which is right at that corner. Okay.
Yeah.
And I was filming, but when Ongaro launched, I froze. Okay. I froze. And then the whole block pass, you can't see it in the video because I stopped moving my hand. I'm like, oh shit. And I was looking and then, oh no. And I didn't move my hand to follow. So I would have had the perfect video, but nope.
Yeah.
You was mesmerized, JQ.
Yeah.
But
He was like, holy shit.
this last jump, I didn't even think about he's gonna do it. It was just a surprise.
So here's coming up.
I mean, if we wouldn't have come together, I wonder how it would have ended up. Like, would have he passed me or would I have passed him? I don't know. But it was just unfortunate.
So you take the win.
Real close.
He has to wait. Is this all right? So this is like the last lap that's been going around the world. Yeah, I saw somebody say that they thought that was desperation move by Ongaro, but I'm like, dude, if that would have been a pass, if you would have pulled that off, it would have been awesome.
Yeah, it would have been cool. And it was like the last lap, and the guy who was behind of us, he already finished. So, I mean, you can try.
JQ, how are you feeling after this?
I mean, it was great. This was great because now I knew that, okay, well, I know that Pekko is capable of doing this now because you don't know until someone does it, right? So that's why that race was good because it's one thing to lead a few laps or whatever, but then to actually pull it off and then win and even repass Ongaro there after getting past. Like those are the things, like Saxton always says that you need to have it. Like what is it? It's this, you can't define it, but you can see it. Like some drivers have it. I remember we were talking about it back in the day with Joona Haatanen when he was at the Reedy race in the open class. And then he won the open in two-wheel drive. But when we were looking at the main, it was like Richard was saying, like, look, he just has it. So that kind of moment, last lap, big race, Ongaro makes a crazy move. And then you have the presence of mind to just slow down a bit, cut to the inside, block his line, and keep going. You know, those kind of things. Like, you either are able to do it or you're not. It's hard to learn to do those kind of things, right?
All right.
So you need skill, you need talent, you need it. That's what I think.
I understand exactly what he's saying. You look at some guys and just like, yep,
yeah,
he's got it. He just needs some fine tuning. Let's talk about Nitro. Then we'll move on to.
Wait.
Do you want to talk about something else?
Yeah, one other thing. So everything we watched there, would you say it was racing?
Yes.
If anything, if anyone would have any reason to be mad, it could be Pekko or me for that last lap. Like it was irresponsible. Like he could have broken the car, whatever, right? He launched it on the back, landed on Pekko. Let's be honest.
That was a little careless. I think the big jump was calculated.
Yeah. So anyway, we weren't mad, and I wasn't mad. I thought like it was an ambitious move that went wrong, but it could have been like the move of the century. Like, let's say it had worked, it would have been absolutely amazing. It's like, holy shit! Like that's why this guy is 3-time world champion or 4-time. But after the race, Ongaro's dad was really mad. He was yelling. He was like giving me thumbs down, like Joseph, showing me thumbs down in front of everyone in the pits. And I'm like thinking like, why is he so mad? What happened? And he was talking about like unfair, like it's unfair on the track. I'm like, what? So we quickly got the video And I went to show him, like, show me the part that's unfair, and he wasn't having it and he was all mad. And then I think Davide got mad because his dad was mad, basically. Because I think after the race, everything was fine between Pekko and him.
Go ahead.
Can you?
Sorry.
Pekko?
No, you're good. You and Pekko. Everything was fine between you and Pekko.
Between Davide and Pekko on the driver's stand, everything was okay.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. But then in the pits, for some reason, now there was drama. And at the end, I just walked away and said, like, you guys are bad losers. Like, I'm disappointed. Like, you guys.
So there's some beef now.
Yeah. So then, okay, well, that didn't sit well with them. But that's what I felt like. Okay, so it was a crazy race and Pekko won, but then they are mad and yelling and angry. And I just figured, okay, I'll just leave it. Like, it's just the emotions of the moment, which we are all.
But I don't see what they can be mad at.
Well, I think just the fact, like, it's such a close race and then there's drama and then you lose. Like, you don't necessarily think logically at the time. You just react with emotion. Okay, so I'm like, okay, that's fine. Then second main, clean from the start. They finish 1-2. Then the third main, Pekko gets by early on. Then Lats gets by Ongaro too and Pekko. So Lats is leading, Pekko second, and then Ongaro jumps into Pekko. They both crash. Ongaro gets the worst of it. Pekko drives back up to second and catches Lats, but doesn't win. And he had to win the last main to win the overall. So you could say that benefited Ongaro to take Pekko out. I don't think it was intentional because there was a marshal standing in the way of the corner. But still, so even then, if we just look at facts, no emotions, just facts. In the first race, Ongaro landed on Pekko and they crashed. In the last race, Ongaro hit Pekko in the A and both crashed, right? And then won the overall. On the flip side, in two of the mains, Pekko passed Ongaro clean. Those are facts, okay? No emotions, no opinions. Those are just facts. So looking at that, I do not see a reason for Ongaro team to be angry at me or Pekko. Correct? I don't see a reason. So then...
No, I don't see one at this point.
Yeah, so then after the race, I go to just congratulate after A3, like, good job, congratulations. And the dad is so mad, he won't even shake my hand. And Davide says something Italian to him, and he shakes my hand. So I just, two things. One, I've heard a lot of stories about Ongaros, like how they behave in Italy and this and that. And I've only had a very small taste of it when Ronne Falk was running for Mayako. And there's this thing, like, to be great at something, you need a certain mindset. And often it's one that can cause issues in relationships when they are a threat. Like, as long as, Mayako isn't a threat, JQ isn't a threat, Pekko isn't a threat, everything's fine. But then when you enter that level, like, this is now a threat, something changes, okay? And I don't think I'm that way, but I need to remember that, I think. And that's something that I did notice, for sure. And maybe some of those stories that you hear, practicing on the Euros track before the race, or just testing the track. Oops, the transponder was plugged in. These kind of things. When you look at those things in this light, it raises more questions. Do you understand? So there's so many of these things that have happened over the years where if you if you give them the benefit of the doubt, everything's fine, no problem. But if you think with this lens, it's like, yeah, of course they would do that or this or that. Do you understand what I mean? Like, great champions are great for a reason, because of how they do things, how they make the most out of every opportunity. And there's a fine line between doing it the right way and then crossing the line and sort of bending the rules or bending the morals of what's right. And
Gray area.
my point is that I have massive respect for Ongaro as a driver and their team, because they set their car up very differently and in a very particular way for him. I've spoken about this many times, and I still have that respect. But I've lost a bit of respect for them as racers, as peers, as sort of human beings in a sense, right? And I don't know where this will go from here. I don't carry a grudge or a beef. I still have that same respect, but I'm curious to see now in the coming years which way this goes, because his time will come to an end. The next generation is coming. There's more development with different cars and tire brands and stuff. Like, there will be competition where he will get beat at some point, right? So what happens at that time? That I'm curious to see. That's also something that happened at this race, and time will tell.
So you and Ongaros are beefing right now. I like it.
You like it.
I like it.
I hope we're not beefing, but there, I would say that there is definitely now some beef there.
Can I add something to this? Because
Yeah.
it's kind of like, I would say the other people that were similar to this were the Testments, right? And X-Ray as a whole. I just had this conversation because I was at the RC1, so you saw what happened with Aiden and all that stuff. But I said that X-Ray worked together as a team to get X-Ray's best result, which was Dakota Fan getting a win, Chase Lemieux getting a win, and X-Ray doing well as a team, period.
Yeah.
And they operate in that gray area. So I think what you're seeing is you've heard some stories. I've heard them too. You know what I mean? And I have nothing against the young R's. I think I like them. But in order to be at that level, you have to have some sort of, there has to be some negative side. And the negative side is probably when people become competitive, you switch up, right? And well, if you don't agree with something, because they've had their times, they're mad at me. There's probably a reason he ain't coming on this podcast. He was mad at me over the Euros thing. Obviously, when we talked about it, and I think the Matrix thing pissed him off at the Worlds, but we're just, I get it. You have to shoot the messenger, not the message.
Yeah,
So
but
connecting all the dots.
Yeah, I would just add one thing. So I think that Davide is sort of more easygoing and more open, kinda, in a sense, than the father. Okay, and then Mauro is the one who, in the moment, then affects Davide in a negative way. I think that's my opinion. That has been my experience. But also, then Davide is sort of, I would say, after the fact, then sort of not really open to have conversations, or very sort of dismissive, or sort of part of the problem after the fact, I would say. So I just think that when the stakes are high in racing, when there's money involved, this is inevitable to some extent. But I would hope that people would still be able to separate the racing from personal stuff. I think that that's something to keep in mind, because all of us who go to the races, we want to win. We want to do the best, and we try to do the best we can. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. And when you lose, I don't think that you should sort of tarnish the win of whoever won. And look back. When Ongaro was winning, people were saying he was using a gyro or whatever. who defended him? Do you remember? I did, right? And I still would. So it's not personal in that sense. So now having some undefined beef because Mauro Ongaro got mad in the moment because his son lost a race and not even the overall, I don't think it's worth it.
I think that's also just part of their nature, part of being competitive, and I think constantly being scrutinized about their, obviously with the gyros and all that stuff. So you develop a chip on your shoulder, but Pekko, sounds like you're involved in this beef now. So you and Ongaro are gonna go at it at Euros and may the best young racer race. Young racer win. I will say this. I really wish that Ongaro would start coming to some American races. I wish he would be more of a fighting champion. With that said, I think he's still one of the favorites going to Thornhill next year, and could be a 4-time world champion. But I think that and I've been critical of this as long as he's been a champion. I wish he would. I wish he would go to these races. Not doing well at these races until he does well will make him a better racer, And I wish he would come over because you're a 3-time world champion. I get it. There's pressure on you to win at all these races, but you're not. So there are going to be races you're not going to win. Come over and let people see you race. Like, I really wish you would, instead of just handpicking races you can do well at. And that's probably another thing. He doesn't travel internationally much. He's done well at this race. I think I didn't win it last year, or he came back to win it last.
Yeah, he won.
The competition at this race is starting to get higher, so faster people are coming. So it's not that easy of a cakewalk for him. But it's also, what can I say? Winning this race looks good, right?
Yeah. But that's part of it. It's like Degani says, like, stop coming to these races where you're not. Stop coming to these races. What does he say always? The way where you're not the king or where you're not the champion. Like, stay at home. Like, he says this like to Robert or Savoya or these guys. Like, stay at home where you're a king, or where
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Can win and do well, instead of coming to America and then being in the B main or C main. Like, it makes you look bad.
He needs to do that. I think he needs to do that.
Yeah.
So I wish he would, because I want to see him race more and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So do we want to talk about Nitro? Because we've talked about Philippine Masters quite a lot. I think it was a great Nitro main. What really, Pekko, you ran out of fuel in a good battle. You and the guy, Christian Walhalter, had a very good battle.
Yeah, it was a good battle.
You ran out of fuel. Kayuki Kata, is that his name?
Koki
Kata runs away with this after Ongaro experiences some issues.
And I also had a flame out in the pits.
Pitman, man.
Yeah, the pitman can
damn pitman. So
that.
Yeah, actually, this race could have looked very different, but unfortunately, second pit stop or third pit stop?
Second.
Which one?
Second.
Was it third?
Second
pit stop. Pekko got a big chunk of mud stuck on his wheel, and he actually told me, "Hey, I think my tire is coming unglued, my right rear tire." And then when he drove by on the straight, it looked like it came unglued because it was bouncing. When a tire comes unglued, it will bounce up and down, and that's what it was doing. So I'm like, oh fuck, like his tire is coming unglued. And he was in what, third place or second place?
Yeah, third
place. It was
I know third because Ongaro flamed out already.
Kato and then Pekko. That was the order. And then when he came in, I filled up and I checked the tire just to make sure, like, is it dirt or is it unglued? And the car flamed out. Like, fuck. So he lost 9 seconds on the pit stop. Like, had I just done it a normal pit stop, probably no problem.
Yeah.
So that's why he was in that battle. And ironically, 9 seconds ahead was Koki Kato.
Yeah.
So, like, without that flame out, he would have been racing with Koki for second. And then after Ongaro was out, he would have been racing for the win with Koki. So,
and also I got a bit stuck with the guys.
Yes.
In second and third and fourth.
Yeah. So, for example, he did
came out behind Lutz, I think, that time. So
yeah. for example, at one point in the race, he was right behind Christian Wallhunter, and they raced clean like a whole entire stint, or maybe even 2.
I think 2 stints. It was
And
like
then
probably
I
20
said,
minutes.
okay, now be very close for the pit stop and we'll pass him. And he was, and then they pitted like 1 lap, with 1 lap separation. So Pekko comes in, pit stop, Christian comes in, and then he gets by.
Yeah.
During the pit stop. And then the next lap, Christian takes him out twice, not big takeouts, but touching, half spin, weight, this kind of stuff. And those things, like, you just lose your rhythm, you lose time. It's a really annoying way to race, especially after being clean for a while in the opposite direction, and then the opposite direction, bump, that kind of stuff. So there was a situation in the pits too when I went
heard
to
about
Christian's dad.
I heard
and said,
about
hey, I said, hey, we just raced clean for an entire stint. Now your son hit Pekko twice in a lap. Tell him something. And he's like, oh, what? I said, tell him to do the same back, race clean. And then he eventually did say something, and they were clean.
I heard you puffed up your chest and was all pissed off at him.
I didn't puff up my chest. I went up to him and told him, what's up?
And you smacked his hand or something like that.
No, there was no violence.
Oh, I heard about the kerfuffle in the pit. My sources tell me, and I was
No
wondering,
kerfuffle, just some much needed honesty. Yeah.
Oh my
It was
gosh.
good. It was good. It was
You're
emotional.
just
But hey,
making friends everywhere you go, ain't you?
yeah, one thing about the Nitro main. So we just spoke about electric. I even said to Pekko and to Davide that Davide is the better driver. If you look at them, he is the better driver. But it just so happens that in this moment, in this race, for whatever reason, Pekko had better tires and a better car setup in electric. That's why they were racing each other. Yeah. In Nitro, Ongaro was by far the best. Not in the beginning, but in the later stages of the race. And I think the tires were the reason. I think for whatever reason in the shorter runs, the tires weren't as good. And then after sort of 15, 20 minutes of running, the tires were really good. And another reason I say this is because Polito runs Matrix, and he was nowhere in electric. He was nowhere in the beginning of the race. Second half of the main, Polito was very fast. Ongaro had the fastest pace of the main. Pekko and Polito were tied for the second fastest pace. Koki won, but he was like 4th or 5th or something. And if you just look at raw speed, pace. So Ongaro was first, and Pekko and Polito tied second. I think Lutz was high there also. Like, there's a number of guys after them. But for the 60-minute Nitro main, Ongaro was still untouchable at this race. I say that even knowing that, yes, Kilik was there, Kilik was racing him, Kilik was leading, but it's different. It's like Ongaro was cruising, Kilik was racing. There's a difference there still, I feel. So for Nitro and 60-minute main, Ongaro was still untouchable, and his equipment was better also. Tires, car, everything. He was on a different level.
Yeah, I mean, this is also one of his tracks that he's really good at, right? And this type of style of tracks. And probably adding to the frustration why he didn't have a good weekend. But we see for the first time in a long time a Japanese racer taking a win at one of these major events.
Didn't he win Jakarta?
Yeah, I think he did.
Last year, Jakarta, he won.
Oh, he did. Okay,
Yeah.
I did not realize that. I do apologize, but this is a little bit bigger, right?
Yeah.
Ongaro and these type of guys. Let's be honest.
But one thing I would like to know here, we haven't even spoken about this, is for Pekko, how he felt to race against these guys on this level, electric head-to-head for the win, but then Nitro also for 60 minutes, trying to stay focused and how was that experience?
Oh, yeah, it was nice.
say more than that though.
We need more than
mean,
that.
I mean, it's
Mm.
like I have been racing so long that it's like I have seen the same people and everything. So I've been racing like so long that it's not that different, but it's nice to race on the top. It's for sure it's much better. And it was actually nice to take the win the A1. I was really happy about it, and just overall performance during the weekend was super good. I was happy about it. Just
I
came
have a
down to a
question
couple
for you.
mistakes on my own and couple unfortunate things happening.
I have a question for you, Pekko. Was you more nervous at SilverState with because you talk about competition? Well, there was a shit ton more of competition at SilverState, different type of race compared to this. Because it's like I gotta make it into the final at SilverState. Here,
I
you
would
kinda
say,
already know.
at SilverState, I was more nervous. But it's also
Well,
because we had a long trip. We had
Mhm.
like 1 week practice before SilverState. I had so many laps under, so it made me comfortable. And also after the race, after SilverState, it went quite well. I was more comfortable, and it just all like clicked together for this race. That's the thing. Like I haven't really had the like time to practice before big races that much before. So this was, I would say, the first time when we had like proper practice before a real race, and also back-to-back races. So I was super comfortable driving, and also affects a lot because most of these races during the winter or something, I won't get any practice with 8 scale. And like last summer I was working, so also didn't have that much time to go practice. And also we don't have tracks here.
but just mostly for you was track time, getting back,
Yeah.
running, and constantly driving. Do you feel that that's what you need compared to some of these
Yeah,
other
I
drivers
would
who can
say.
just do it? You need to constantly be practicing and racing then.
I mean, they practice also. I don't have we don't have tracks here to practice properly. I mean, now we have the track in Estonia. That's also, we have to take a ferry, and it's a bit longer trip to go there. But yeah, I don't have a like proper home track to go practice like some other guys.
Okay. You know what? I want to get your thoughts on some of the other drivers here as well, JQ, and some thoughts about SilverState. But before we do that, we got to pay some bills. And I actually for a new Invisible Speed commercial, and I only have this one.
Stop scrolling. You want to be Lewis Hamilton? Learn something new with Invisible Speed. You can't do everything at 100% maximum speed. You have to be smooth. I mean, when you drive a real car, if you drive a real car, how do you just, when you get to a 90-degree corner to turn into the parking lot, do you go like that with the steering wheel? Do you like slam on the throttle and the brake? No, you probably turn the wheel smooth and get on the throttle smooth. Same thing with an RC car. If you want to learn more and make your speed visible, stop scrolling.
That's right. Stop scrolling. Probably one of your most famous commercials, JQ.
Maybe.
Stop scrolling. You can find links for Invisible Speed in the written description of this podcast. Thank you, Invisible Speed, for their support. JQ, speaking of Invisible Speed, was you working with Lutz at this race as well and at SilverState?
No, not really.
Okay.
Not
You
possible.
kind of doing it on his own now?
Yeah. Yeah. I
That
mean,
was a very short answer, JQ.
let's say that he got his setup station now. That will help. He's been eyeballing everything. I mean, he has the basic knowledge for the things that we did to his cars to improve them, and bump steer and roll center stuff. So he has all that knowledge already. Of course, like I said earlier, the difference is you have the knowledge, but you need to know when and how to apply it. And that's kind of where I come in. But then if I'm not able to provide that support in the moment, then you have to rely on yourself. that makes a difference. Like I now I really know and understand that.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Tell us about your setup tools. I see lots of people getting them. They look good.
Yeah, well, let's get to that when we are done with everything else. I'll show
Okay.
you what's
All right. So let's talk about some of these drivers over there in Australia. Then we'll get into SilverState. I want to say this. Impressed with. I really like the ABC thing. The series, we've talked about it quite a lot of times. We're seeing lots of people shine. A lot of these young Australian guys are doing well. But what I don't see is out of these Australian guys yet is the next Kyle McBride type of racer, right? Maybe in the younger generation that's coming up. I know a lot of hopes were with Alex Bernardzak, but real life seems to have caught him. I know you have a couple of fast racers over there with Jaden Edmonds and Colin, the kid Caleb Noble and all that stuff. Edmonds won the first round. That's one of the fun things about the series. Who else impressed you over there, JQ?
Who impressed me at Philippine Masters?
Yeah.
That little 9-year-old kid from India.
Oh yeah.
What's his name?
And
The reason isn't the same, I think, as just a young kid doing well. It's because he doesn't have a track. Like that. I spoke with the dad, and the dad said that the only time he drives is at those races. So that he was like, okay, so he did this race. Then the next time he'll pick up a transmitter is the next race in Brisbane, was it? Or no, I think it's the Jakarta one.
No, the next one is in
September or something. Like what, 6 months away? Like what? So the fact that he doesn't drive more than that, but then he's able to just, get around the Philippine Masters track and, decently. That's pretty impressive, actually.
Very much so. Very much so.
Yeah. He signed up for the Mayako Youth Mentoring Program, so we'll get him to drive a bit more than that.
Hopefully they can get it. I know they need to get some tracks. I know they have some in Sri Lanka. I don't know if they still go it.
No, it's this another guy, not Sri Lanka.
Well, I know. It's a different person. Isn't that Sri Lanka and India two different countries?
Mm. Who else was impressive, Pekko?
What impressive?
Yeah,
you can say yourself.
You know what was impressive? Mayako, the team.
Ooh,
biggest team. Yeah, that's true.
That was impressive. That impressed me.
Also, it's not because of giving people discounts. It's the biggest team, which is even more impressive in this industry now. It's not about like handing out free cars and this and that. No, it's about giving more value and getting more for your money. So that's actually, I was surprised. And the biggest reason for that is actually Tim from Replay RC Games and Hobbies, is it?
Yeah.
From Australia, Mayako, Australia. He's been doing a really good job. So influencing not just Australia, but the rest of Asia also. We had drivers from many different countries attend.
Yeah, you had those yellow shirts too. Where does?
Yeah.
Special
Yeah,
orders?
Cavalieri wasn't too keen. He was like, do we have to wear this? I look like I'm delivering a pizza. So, yeah,
Minions.
we had a good time with those yellows.
Well, that's good. And look, I'm looking for the picture. That's good to see. I've been impressed with what's been going on over there in Australia anyway. And it all comes to a good head her at the race, man. I thought it was good. I've told you a lot. There's been a lot of positive things about Mayako lately. And I just say keep on going, keep riding that wave. And it looked good. I'm bringing out the picture here. Yellow shirt. You look like you're playing cricket, to be honest. You're part of the Australian cricket team.
Yeah.
There you go. Good stuff.
Yeah.
How about the race itself? Did you leave there happy, JQ? Hold on. Before we do that, let's segue to Cavalieri, because you had a lot of high hopes for Cavalieri coming out of DNC, and Pekko is now your fastest driver at both of these events.
Okay, so
I'm
still a believer in
Cavalieri.
Ryan. Yes.
Okay.
So do you remember a very long time ago when we were talking about the three top guys. It was Mayfield, Tebow, and Cavalieri.
Mhm.
And Tessman and Rivkin kind of snuck in there a bit as the next generation. But the first three guys was Mayfield, Cavalieri, and Tebow. They were the three. And we had the discussion of like, who is going to last the longest? Like, who's retiring first? Who's going to be done first? And then I was saying that it's Cavalieri. And I said Mayfield would stick around the longest. And I said that Cavalieri will be done first because he relies on talent. He doesn't have the knowledge. He doesn't have the skills like wrenching, setup skills. He relies on talent. And also he doesn't put in the track time and effort to the level that's required. Okay. And then once he stops doing well, that's going to be his downfall. But then someone like Mayfield, who goes to the track, who likes tinkering, who tests, who knows what he wants from the car, he will be able to keep his career going longer. And I can't remember what I said about Tebow, but I just felt that that was what's going to happen. So with Cavalieri, the thing is that he can actually drive. He has the skill. Or let's put it like this. He has the talent and he has had the skill. But to get the skill back that is needed to be at the highest level, he needs to drive more. He needs to go to the track more, put in more laps, be more comfortable and connected with his car. And he also needs to learn about some of the setup things which he can apply at the race. Because I can give advice, I can help to some extent, but the last little bit has to be done by the driver. Because we can be in a situation where I can say, I think it would help if you either raise the front diff or you move the shock out on the front arm. For example, I could do that. I think that you could like do one of those things. And he needs to be able to say, I think I'll do the diff. Or he needs to say, actually, I'm pretty comfortable with that, but the issue is more that the rear end does that. And okay, well, in this case, maybe try that. So we could have a conversation and he can make that final decision. He needs to be able to do that. Because even now with Pekko, I didn't build his car and set it up. He did. He's like one step ahead of me the whole time because he knows. So he drives the car and then he says, you know what? What if we raise the diff? Because we've done it before at tracks like this. And I say, yeah, Robert, when we were here, Robert preferred it high. He ran the front diff high. So then he does it, then he's faster. It's like, okay, this is better. And then I go to Cavalieri and say, hey, Pekko did this. You should do the same. So a driver has to be able to pinpoint those things themselves because they are driving the car. And that's really important. So they have to be connected to the car and they have to know certain changes to make. And the only way to get to that point is to go to the track, drive enough, test enough, then you can do it. So we need to get Cavalieri to do that. Also, I don't care about any other race for Cavalieri except 8-scale electric world championships in Portugal. That's the goal. Really. Every other race, I don't care if he's in the D main, but that race, he needs to be on it and he needs to do well.
You want to win the E-Buggy rounds, eh?
I mean, that would be the ultimate epic thing, right?
Even though you scorn E-Buggy.
Well, you should hear about the Truggy developments. Jesus Christ.
E-Truggy, dude.
serious.
I'm all about E-Truggy.
The only thing that motivated me to decide like, okay, yeah, let's go to Wicked Weekend, like I'll go, is if we have a Truggy that I can race. Really. And you know why? Because Cavalieri ran the Techno Truggy, Pekko ran the Techno Truggy, and I had to wrench on it a bit. And I'm like, this is the hype. This is the best Truggy right now. This is a John Deere, and we make Lamborghinis, okay? So I want to make a Lamborghini Truggy. I know it's a redneck thing. I know a Truggy is a tractor, okay? I know that. But that actually motivated me. I'm like, what if we made an actual like racing Truggy? So now I actually, I am most motivated right now. And I'm ashamed to admit this. I am most motivated at this moment by E-Buggy and Truggy.
Well, it's about time
And
you.
I am not
accepted the
even,
truth.
this is not some elaborate scam or game or any, I'm not trying to manipulate you in some way. I am being 100% honest. Like E-Buggy Worlds, okay, let's go there. Let's develop the car. Let's do it. And Truggy.
You know what?
What
I'm
is
finally
happening?
glad you have admitted the truth that I've known all these years that you are a better e-buggyist and truggyist by far.
Maybe, but if that's
I'm
the
so
case,
glad you've
if that's the
accepted this
case,
truth.
if that's the case, we are going to see this. I am going to race Truggy, and it's going to be a Mayako Truggy. It's going to happen. I have already ordered bodies. This is serious.
We're getting
We
serious.
have
So,
parts. We have parts. We are assembling Mayako Truggies as we speak.
so you're gonna have an e-truggy?
Also, well, I won't race that. Let's draw the line there.
Yeah.
Maybe
that's
Pekko,
true. No,
but
no,
no,
no.
no. E-Truggy is like fifth scale. It is the
That's the
forbidden
passion.
word.
E-truggy is freaking awesome, JQ, by the way. I am an e-truggyist now, but I'm so glad you look. This is a great day at 8:26 a.m. my time, the 15th of April of May, 2025. You finally admit what I've been telling you for many years. You are an e-buggyist and truggy guy.
I didn't admit that, but I admit that I am very motivated and excited by those two classes at this moment.
Sounds like you like those two classes because sounds like you're an e-buggyist now.
That's
Yeah.
And I want to tell you, you know, your e-buggy's always been better than your nitro buggy. Always.
And now especially. So
There we go. The
Yeah.
truth has been admitted. The truth has been admitted.
Yeah.
The truth has been admitted. Anything
I
else
have an
to add?
idea.
What do you have? What's your idea, buddy?
I want to talk about something again.
Okay, go ahead. I'll mute myself while you talk.
No, this is about what changed between being able to make a main and actually being fast, like being able to beat the best drivers, being able to hold it together for 5 minutes. Like, what does it take to get from there to having a sniff of the top? And how do you actually get there and stay there consistently? I have a formula or like at
go
least
ahead and tell me
some
about
good
it.
advice, but maybe from maybe a Pekko could start. Like, this is by no means a sort of Pekko hasn't reached the destination. Let's put it that way, but he has taken a step closer to it. So what has changed? He has been a good driver for years. What has changed now to take this step? And then I have a theory after. Pekko, what do you say?
I would say the first thing, more driving, more testing, being more at the track, wrenching your cars so they are dialed for every race you go, or for even a practice days, to have everything like it should be. That's, in my opinion, the key things. That you go to the track and like have your cars in good condition, learn about the setup, learn about the cars, like just normal basic things to get everything together.
Yep. I agree with those things. And I think there's one often overlooked thing. And that is the driver's attitude and mindset. And I think because of personal reasons, I've been very much like in Finland we say kitchen psychologist. What would the term be in English? Armchair psychologist, right? And I think for the last, I don't know, year or more, I've been Pekko's RC dad, okay? I'm not his full-time dad, just RC dad, okay? And an RC dad doesn't take any bullshit, okay? Even these last 3 weeks, we've had some like battles. Not like we haven't come to blows, but probably Pekko has wanted to punch me in the face a couple of times. I'm pretty sure.
Know all about that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because I have been very firm on certain things. Okay, I have not allowed Pekko to give excuses or to avoid taking accountability, and there's a reason for that. Oh, you were making a main and you crashed on the last lap of the deciding qualifier. No, it wasn't the backmarker's fault. It wasn't the marshal's fault. It wasn't bad luck. You made a mistake. You overdrove. You didn't play it safe and just finish. You got nervous. You changed something, right? Why? Figure that out. Whatever that situation, like everything that's gone wrong, we have addressed it. There's no excuses. Why did this go wrong? No. Take accountability of it. When you take accountability, you realize, hey, actually, I'm not a bad driver or bad person or worse or anything like because I made a mistake. But I made this mistake. If we understand it, maybe we can eliminate it. And I cannot make this in the future, right? People very often, something goes wrong, they blame something else. If you always do that, you never progress to that next level. When you look at things and you accept that, hey, no one's perfect, I'm not perfect, I did this wrong, you address it, then you can progress. That's one change. Would you agree? Yeah?
Yeah,
That is
true.
that has been the role of the RC dad.
Son right now.
Yeah.
It's like, you was right, Dad.
Yeah,
that's-
but this is important because it's like a mindset thing, really. It's I believe that the best drivers naturally have this in some way, even if they don't publicly admit. Internally, they do, right? So if you internally make an excuse and forgive yourself in a sense, you don't truly work on it. You don't accept it, right? And that's why I don't allow it externally. I don't know what he's thinking, but I know what he says, right? So I address that. So at least then I know outwardly he's saying the right things. He's taking accountability. He's thinking about these things. He's making improvements. And then hopefully internally the same thing happens, right? So that's one thing. And then another thing has been small details that are easily overlooked. So one example would be we were warming up. Was it even before the main? Jesus, I don't remember.
No,
in
before
Nitro.
qualifier.
Before a qualifier, yeah. And I literally walked up the stand and I said, Pekko, come down here. And I said, hold the car. And he was revving it, warming up the engine. And then rev it like he does normally, just super fast. And the car jerks a lot. Every throttle input, it jerks like that. So I did it with the radio, like how he does it, okay? And then I did almost the same, but the initial pull is a bit slower. And it revs up quickly, but the car's stable. No movement. And then how he was doing it, boom, the car is wanting to lift the front. You know how it jerks the car. And then almost the same, but initial a bit smoother, car is stable. I say, that's what you should do on the track because you don't break traction, less wheel spin. The car is more settled. The car is more flat. You flow. You maintain corner speed. Like, keep that in mind. And then on the headset, I kept reminding him about those kind of things, like small details, right? And again, this is something that I think the best drivers almost like naturally they do these kind of things. I know because Ronne Falk said things which I'm like, how the fuck did he think about that? Or Tebow. Tebow said things where I'm like, wow, Mayfield, same thing. Like, how do these guys, Bruno Coelho also, he mentions things about his performance, about driving, which is some tiny detail that you would not consider, right? To go to the very top, you have to pay attention to tiny details. That's one tiny detail. You're just pulling the trigger. But what if you did it slightly differently, right? Another detail in the main, I saw he started making mistakes in this one section, and you brake leading into it. So I said, add some brake when you're on the straight. He goes like 1 or 2 clicks on the radio. He stops doing that. So he was racing and he didn't notice that, hey, my brakes have faded. That's why I'm now doing this mistake. And then after fixing that, stop doing that mistake. So how do you make that step to improve the last bit? Basically, accepting accountability to learn and also paying more attention to details. Cool.
And taking
What do you think,
criticism. I think that's life lessons as you get older.
Yeah,
So
and
maybe
that's
some
things
wise
that I've
life lessons.
been bad at.
Yes.
You know? Yeah.
Very bad at.
Yeah,
We
but that's also why I know.
You know what we used to say, JQ? People will focus on what they're good at, which then doesn't allow them to focus on the things that they need to focus on.
Yeah.
So like you'll be good. Oh, I'm really good at taking that triple, but I suck and blow that corner every time. But we make ourselves feel good because we can do the triple, or we can do a hot lap.
Yeah.
So that's some good stuff. Good stuff right there. All good advice as well. Pekko looks like he's ready to go. It's like, all right, I'm over this.
Yeah.
I'm over this. We still have a
I
little
actually
bit
need
more
to
to
go.
talk about. No, you can't go anywhere because we have to touch on SilverState.
Okay.
The prophecy has been fulfilled, and of course, you probably have some ranting to do. All right, let's. I know you have some rants about the races. Overall, Pekko, though, you had a good time on your trip at SilverState and at Philippines. JQ, you sound like you enjoyed the Philippines as well. I really want to go to this race next year, or come for the Indonesia round as well. Make it happen, JQ.
Me?
Yeah. Yeah, you're the guy over there.
What value do you add to the race? What would you do? Let's make a plan.
I'll work whatever. I'll do whatever NRC content or whatever I do. I bring value. Just because you don't recognize it
I will
doesn't
think
mean
about it.
Doesn't mean nothing. But how did it? Let's segue into SilverState really quick, because I want to get your thoughts on that race, because it was the first race. We did talk about it with Pekko. Mainly, I want to get your thoughts on something you said over there, and your thoughts on Mason Fuller, to be honest. But that's going to be brought to you by ML Toys.
Are you looking to take your ride-on car to the next level? ML Toys makes it easy with plug-and-play modifications like motors, speed and brake controls, and more. ML Toys is the one-stop shop to make your ride-on car the coolest car in the neighborhood.
Thank you to ML Toys. I'll be embarking on that project next week on my daughter's Power Wheels modification. I know JQ is like, I know nothing about that. But yes, there's Power Wheels modification and racing and drag racing and all that stuff going on. And it's actually pretty cool. All right, SilverState, JQ. I messaged you briefly during SilverState, and you says lots of fans. And sounds like you're getting, and I'll be honest with you, man. I saw Invisible Speed at books at a lot of the races that I went to, if that's what we're talking about, with lots of fans. People seem to be embracing the Invisible Speed thing, which is great. Because I think it's really valuable for anybody, no matter what car you're driving or what class you're running. But Pekko had some glimmers of brilliance at SilverState, and for me, I was just geeking. I was at a race, so I couldn't follow it much, but I was just impressed and happy, so happy that the prophecy has been fulfilled. Mason Fuller finally beat these guys in Nitro Buggy. Not only did he beat them in Nitro Buggy, he swept the entire series, the entire race. I told Pekko, I said, this is going to go down in history as probably one of the most dominating weekends by a racer at any race ever. What are your thoughts on it?
It was really impressive and a good comeback from DNC, where I think he should have won Nitro Buggy, but made mistakes, and we had the whole conversation about like why is Mayfield still winning. But what I think actually is more impressive and why I sort of consider him more than some other racers who also win in America is that he made the main at the Worlds also. And to do
He was
that,
the best
like,
American.
what?
He was the best American all week. Pretty
Yeah,
much.
no, I'm not saying that because he made the main at the Worlds. I'm saying that because it's so different conditions, something not that you're not used to, setup wise, driving wise. The tires weren't the best there. J Concepts at that race still good, but that I thought was really impressive. That showed sort of his true level and potential, that he was able to go there and still perform. And there was a bigger gap, I would say, between him and many other Americans who he normally races with. So that I think makes him more special or more spectacular than this SilverState sweep, which of course that is an amazing feat also.
So we've been waiting for so long for Mason Fuller to do this. I know. And we've seen others win. We saw Brandon Rose win. Look at Pekko. You want to know whether he's tired. You could go if you want, Pekko. Or do you want to rant? And
they also know that. We had a chat after the race, and the first thing they said was like, "Well, finally did this, so Lefty can shut up."
good, because
Something
I won't
like
shut up now because now I'm all about it. I think why I think this is different from say Brandon Rose when he won SIC a couple years ago is that Mason Fuller has been constantly beating these guys in E-Buggy, constantly beating them in Truggy, and finishing second to these guys for quite a long time.
Yeah.
I think he rides his package. I noticed it at DNC where I thought he could have won the race. Then at PMB he was also very fast, and I was like he's got his package dialed in. And it paid, and he's been putting in work. He's been practicing. He's been going racing. He's been doing what needs to be done to get to this level. I think he gets this win, and I think he rides this wave going into the upcoming warm-up race at Thornhill, and then into the nationals and all that type of stuff. And I think it's nothing stopping him from winning. I think he knows now he can beat these guys anywhere, anytime, any place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I have a question. Do you think that people know or sort of know who Mason Fuller is or care about him? So what I mean is people in Europe or in Asia, do they care?
I don't
Mason
know.
Fuller won all SilverState. Like, do they now, oh, I'm so excited about Red or S-Works or like Fuller? Is it like that or not?
I don't know, because the one thing that I say he lacks is he has not built up. He's the Iceman for a reason. He doesn't say much, right? And I think the focus is on the winning, and the image side is also important nowadays, right?
Yeah.
And I think that these guys need to be able to focus on both, or someone needs to help him on that side. You know,
Yeah.
S-Works needs to be mentoring that side of him, because his race side's fine, right? But he needs to. I said it a few years ago that I think these companies will hire PR teams or somebody to have PR to do something.
I've been
But if that's the one thing he lacks is the image side.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that. If you think about it, like Tebow, he doesn't have those kind of results, but he has a bigger image somehow. Like
Mhm.
he's more of a star. Like people care outside of America. Yes, America, the rest of the world exists. Mayfield, same thing. Even Cavalieri, like they have that star power. You know why I think that is? Social media. Back when they became who they are, when they made their name for themselves, we had magazines, we had dedicated RC media journalism. That's what creates a persona, an image, a star. Now we have drivers' personal Facebook and the brand's Facebook, and that media is kind of lacking. So everyone's the same. Anyone can create a Facebook page or social media content, and it's like it's all the same. There's no separation. Why is he different to anyone else? Why would that kid from India look up to Mason Fuller? They can look up to everyone. They're just the same. They have the same T-shirt and the same Facebook page, and there's nothing different, right? Back then, it was like you only saw the stars in the magazines. You only saw them being interviewed. You only like the only people you saw were the stars. They became the stars. Now everyone's a star. Do you see? There's no difference. Why is he different to Camden Lime? Their results are different, but if you look, like, it's not much different. Like, who's who? Like, I don't know. Do you understand? Like,
I understand that.
That's missing.
Can I have a rebuttal to that? Well, not a rebuttal, but I would add to that is that I would say that Thibaut Cavallari and Mayfield also have results, right, on an international, world, and national stage. And
but so he also has those results.
Not like those guys. Those guys have fucking world championships, all three of them, right? And really race wins and national title wins multiple times. And they came up in an era where the magazines and things were superstars. Yes, everybody can be a superstar nowadays.
Yeah.
And while I think building up your image is important because you have to build it up, you have to separate yourself from people. Of course, we have this topic because there's no real separation between pros and Joes in RC, right? But does he help sell stuff? I don't know. I think it feels good for the S-Works guys to get this win. I feel good because I like the family and I think he's living up to his potential, but he has to win some more. And then maybe as he wins, maybe he gets the confidence to talk more. Maybe, who knows?
Yeah,
because
but talk to who? Talk where? This is a perfect segue into a mini rant here. You remember that rant about stay in your lane? Corporate Lefty announcing races, not going to Joey's races anymore, no DNC, no SilverState. Oh, we have our own thing over here organizing these races. There's enough races already, right? There's enough race promoters, organizers, announcers. You know what your lane is? Independent RC media. You are the guy who covers these events, who tells the stories, who tells the backstories of people. Why was it special that Fuller swept SilverState? Who is he? When has this ever been done before? What's in his future? That's what independent RC media does. And that's what No Name RC Podcast is. Not announcing some fucking race in Florida that only those people who attend care about. No one gives a shit. A live stream 9 hours all day. It's cool. You're there talking. Doesn't change anything. Doesn't matter. We have plenty of people doing that. Stay in your fucking lane. You are RC independent media. That's what you should be doing. If these people aren't stars, actually, it's the media's fault.
Well, you know what? There was people there to do that. Why didn't they do it? I'm not good.
That's what you need to do. That's your lane.
I don't want to go
that's
to that
who you
race.
are. You are the Lefty the Great. Do not become Lefty the Great.
Race.
Disappointment.
I am not into SilverState. Listen, you said you don't. You got me. I filter out to different things. That independent media stuff doesn't get paid.
We need a realignment. I have a setup station. I can send you one. Put it on your head and realign your brain. Okay. Check your camber, your droop, your toe. We can do it. We can make it happen. We can figure this out. You need.
I do want to go to DNC next year. The only race I want to go to is DNC. I want to go to DNC. I don't want to go to Silver. I'm not a SilverState fan. I'm not.
Do you have a gambling problem?
Go all the big races.
No, I don't like gambling at all. I'm not into anything that Vegas has to offer.
Okay.
Nothing.
I can think of one thing that Vegas has to offer that you're into. This is a family show, so.
But I'm not. I'm just not into. So a lot of people ask me about going to SilverState, and I get that it's a very convenient race, right? And I've been to Vegas for races 3 times now. But I'll tell you what, I like DNC for a particular reason. I like DNC because of the atmosphere. When it's not raining and it's a good day, one of the most beautiful things you can see is like that hill. You stand up on that driver's stand or that little thing and you see all the pit areas set up and people coming to watch and all that type of stuff. I'm not into it. And
I feel like you're changing the subject a bit.
I'm not. I'm just telling you why I'm not going. And other things go different ways. Just like you didn't want to be a part of Mayako, well, things at the NNRC goes different ways. And you know what? I tell you what, the race that I went to in North Georgia, I got to drive on it, and it was fucking probably the best layout I've ever driven on in my life. And you would have liked it too. You would have had a better race at that race, more fun. Well, maybe not. Maybe not more fun. But what I'm just saying is it would have been a very comfortable race. And I
Are you
enjoyed
still
it.
doing that in NRC Cup with the points and all that?
No, I stopped it.
Why not?
Because it gets no traction. Because I don't have help doing it. I can only do so much. Right? And it never gets the traction that I want. And it takes up time because it takes up time from somebody to do the points, somebody to do the graphics and all that type of stuff, and then somebody to write it up. And if it doesn't get traction, I've done it twice. I did it to show what it can do.
We need to, like I said, we need to put you on the setup station and give you an alignment, and then you're good to go for the next 2 to 3 years here.
No,
But
I think I'm
definitely.
fine.
No,
I think I'm
I don't.
fine.
I don't agree. I don't agree with this
I'm not
corporate
doing what you
direction.
want me to do.
These
I'm not doing what you
no,
think I
it's
should
not.
be doing.
It's not about that. It's about the industry and what it needs, and why Mason Fuller swept SilverState, and no one really cares. If we go to Philippine Masters and ask those people, they care about Tebow, Cavalieri, Mayfield. They don't care about Mason Fuller.
But those guys have heritage. They've earned that, JQ. And it's
Yeah,
a
why
different
do they have heritage?
Because
Why?
they fucking won when they
No,
when they
Fuller
won.
also won.
He won one race. He won one fucking race.
Fuller has won a lot of races. He made the main at the Worlds. Why
What did you say?
is
If
he
you're
not
seventh
a
on the
bigger
West
star?
at a race, it doesn't matter. Remember that?
What?
In your blog? Your blog says if you're after seventh, it doesn't matter. You made
Yeah,
a
but he
famous
was
blog
first
about
in all
that.
classes, yeah. So anyway, I stand by what I said. I think that you know your lane. In your heart, you know your lane, and you need to stay in it. So we need to realign you so you stay in your lane. And the viewers, comment below if you agree with what I say. Lefty,
I agree.
great. Independent RC media, uncovering the scoops and the stories and all of that stuff, the personal stuff in racing. That's your
There's
job.
I think
Your
World's
money
quite
doesn't
good.
support that to do it, to make good
What?
money at it.
There's
There's
no
no
what?
money to do it, to support it, to make good money at doing
Well,
it.
it's like the RC Racing TV YouTube channel and the videos they do. Everyone loves them, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
very good.
It could have never started if they thought there's no money in it to do it. And there is no money in it to do it at first. But if you do it and it works, okay, you figure out a way to make
Let's
it
put
work.
it this way. I don't want to do it all the time at these races. I like what I do at the other races too. There are particular
Which is-
races that I want to do this.
Yes, you
Right?
can go and
If I
announce
go-
for 9 hours
listen,
sometimes,
listen,
but you shouldn't
listen.
make that
So first
that
off,
main thing you do.
First off, the race that I went to, I was always scheduled to go to. And it was never scheduled at the same time as SilverState. So
I
that's
feel
not-
like you need a plan. You need a
I'm
plan.
fine.
Like, no, you're not. We sit down.
fine.
Okay, this is the race schedule. Each month, this is the thing.
I
And then you
want to go to
balance
the
it. So
races
like
that I want to
that-
go to, mate. I don't want to go to SilverState. I don't.
you don't need
I'm
to
not
go to
doing that.
SilverState.
I
want
wanna
to
go
to
DNC next year.
SilverState. It's
I
like,
wanna go
what
DNC, that's about
content
it.
do you put out? What is the
I wanna
point of the content you put out? And then the minority of the time is like announcing and these race series and all of that. And the majority is the professional side of RC. And that's
Well, I'm not
what
going to
One
races to
MRC
do both.
podcast is.
I'm not going races to do both. I'm either doing either
You
one.
don't need to go to the races. Okay. The ones you do, the majority is to cover the event. and
That's
the
not
people
paying me
with
to go there.
stories.
That's
Yes,
not how I'm paying
it-
to be there.
It would eventually pay.
I don't
sure.
think there's a
I'm
market
sure.
for it.
I think
don't.
there is.
Well, you can do it.
I think there
I'm
is.
not. I'll go to the races I want to go to. I like going to the Worlds.
That's
I
fine.
want to go to the Nationals. I like to go
Your
DNC.
world's coverage was really popular, right?
Yeah.
You remember?
Yeah.
And in
But
my
it
opinion, it
also
was
a
the
lot of
best.
work.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the best it has
Yes.
ever been.
A
It
lot
was
of
good
people
because we was
watched you
into it
and
there was
Max.
a lot to go on. I enjoyed it. I
lot-
enjoyed it a lot. I enjoyed that more than calling the race.
Yeah,
A
you
lot
should
of
get
people
that
watched
all the time.
the videos of you interviewing or Max interviewing different drivers and teams and all of that because it contained information relevant to the race and what was happening that was not available on drivers' personal Facebook posts or J Concept's Facebook update. No, that's what people want. And that's what you can provide for everyone. And when you do that consistently and well over a period of time, which you can do, then that is when people pay for it. And RC Racing TV is proof of that. And another thing,
Maybe I
they
don't
don't
wanna
charge
do that.
$50 or something. They charge big enough amounts of money to where it makes sense when they get the support.
Exactly,
Right?
and maybe I don't
That's what
wanna
you
do
need
that.
to do too.
Maybe I don't wanna do that at every race.
I'm pretty sure that money motivates you, my man. And if you can make
Money
the money
motivates
by
everybody.
doing something beneficial to the industry, that's what you should do.
Yeah, I'm doing stuff
Yeah.
that's beneficial for the industry. I'm just not doing stuff that you think is beneficial.
No.
But that's fine because that's not what this argument's about. You just
You-
want me to do what you want me to do
No.
and
It's not
nothing
about
else.
what I want.
Yes,
I
of
don't.
course it is.
No, it's not
Of course
about
it is.
that.
It's always about what you want me to do.
Well, yes,
You don't
what I
control
do
me
want,
like that.
I do want it, yes, because I
Yeah,
know that it will
well, support me
improve the
and do it.
industry.
Then say, okay, all right, Lefty, you're going to the Euros in July. Here, I'm going to pay you this much to do this and help you pay for your trip to go there. Then support me and do it.
Okay.
And then see if it gets
Are
done.
you
But
gonna
I'm
do a-
now
are you
I'm
gonna
going
do
to
it
the Euros to
properly?
do commentary.
like the worlds. I swear.
The World, I'm going to do commentary as well, and I'm not
No.
doing both.
Listen.
It's too much
Focus.
to do both.
Focus. 30
I'm not
seconds.
doing
No,
both.
Lefty. Focus.
No, I give
Focus
you a
for 30
chance.
seconds, Lefty.
Send me to the Nationals.
Stop for 10 seconds.
No,
Okay?
exactly.
Breathe.
So
Breathe.
put your money where your
Okay?
mouth is.
Breathe.
I'm
Breathe.
fine.
Breathe. Okay, good.
Oh Lord.
The world's coverage was really good. Imagine that same coverage you did Nationals, Worlds, Euros, I don't know, Philippine Masters, Buggyland. How many races was that? 5?
I
6
think it was
races a
Buggyland.
year. You just like those races, but the
That will be
coverage is
fine.
on point.
That will be fine. I would work with something towards that because those are races
Yeah.
that I would like. Okay, I'll put it
And
this.
that is
I'll put
like
it this way.
the main focus in a sense. That is the flagship thing is that.
I would put it
Everyone
this
knows
way.
that No Name RC podcast coverage of these few major events is unparalleled. It is the best. That is the place to go, right? You also go to these other races and announce and you do this and that and the things you enjoy. Yeah, that's fine. It's just that that's not all you do. You still have those few events where you set the bar for what RC
I agree with you
independent
there.
media is.
I agree with you there. I agree
That's
with
what
you
I'm
there. So
saying. And that
so I'll
is
pick-
possible.
that is possible. That is
Yeah.
very possible.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I'm planning to do for races that I want to go to. I just kind of need to take a fucking
Like
break.
I said, I think you need a sit down and a plan. Okay, so
You-
let's do that.
Yeah,
That's
but,
gonna motivate me more also.
Okay, well, I'm glad you're motivated.
And then
but I
when
would
we have our
agree-
Truggy and we go and we dominate in Truggy, someone's there to tell a fucking story. Okay.
You're all about
See?
Truggy. See? You're
Yeah.
all about Truggy. I would definitely, for instance, I would love to come to the Philippine Masters and do NNRC content because
Okay.
it's a track or it's a race I want to go to. It's a place I want to visit, and I want to have a vacation there at the same
Okay.
time. That will be my motivation to there because if I can go to these races that like those type of races, enjoy my time there, and maybe spend a few days afterwards there as well, then I want to do that. I like to go to these different races. I enjoy what I do in the commentary side, and I do it, but it's also taking up a lot of my time. And sometimes I got to be home. I do have kids that need to see me and need to be raised by me, and that's one of the sacrifices I have made with all this traveling. Because you was in the road for 3 weeks, I was in the road for 5, right? And it wears on you. Remember when I used to be like, "Why are you tired of traveling, JQ?" When we first got into this and we started traveling,
Yeah.
and I never thought I'd get tired of it. And I'm enjoying my time at home. Does that make sense? I enjoy my times that I'm at home.
Me too.
So, but I don't need a realignment. I just need to maybe shift some focus onto
You
those
do
things.
need a realignment. We have
I
a setup
don't-
station. It's available now. Actually, we had a realignment of the web shop. I don't know what happened to this day. I don't know what just I lost access. Everyone lost access. I don't know if someone tried to hack the site or what. Now it's back up and running. So go on there, invisiblespeed.net, set up stations. Everything's available. Books, courses, you name it. You only the setup station. That's what you need. We don't have the plate for Truggy yet. That's what you're going to need for your alignment on your big head. You need the Truggy plate. That's coming. Okay. Just have the buggy one now.
Get the Truggy one done. Get the
You
Truggy
needed the
one.
inhaler for that one.
I needed
Okay,
the
good.
inhaler. You're making
I'm
me
very
run
happy
out of
about
time.
this intervention. I feel like we've achieved something, that we're going to have some improved independent RC media. We have RC Racing TV doing their thing. We have No Name RC Podcast going back to their roots, covering a few big events in very good style. You can include Max in this intervention, and that's going to be his way back into RC.
He needs an intervention.
Give him a haircut, a shave, new wardrobe, make him the fucking best interviewer in the pits, right? He has competition now. The guy from Australia or New Zealand? Australia, right?
Australia. Scott.
What's his name? He's really good. So Max has competition now, but I think that this is possible to do.
Well, I don't think Max wants to travel either.
Just
for sure
2 times a year. Maybe not by plane. He's not safe on plane.
No. We need to have an intervention. We need to have an.
Okay, what else? I need to go.
You had some topics, sir. All right, so we got that over. SilverState, Mason Fuller won, but you think nobody cares because nobody knows him.
Yeah.
I get your points on that. I care, and that's all I care about, right? And I think that's where we create storylines, give them nicknames, that type of stuff. That's my goal. That's why it's the Iceman. You didn't do what? Oh, hold on. What happened to you and your Nitro man at SilverState, JQ? You won E-Buggy.
I was running some old engine. We even turned the idle up because last year I flamed out for no reason, like ghost flame out. And then this time, the lap after the pit stop, I flamed out. And then actually after that, I blew out completely. I still, even with the flame out, I could have won. But I just lost. My brain fell out. Like then just stopped and
why.
My brain fell out. And then it was pretty hard to...
Pekko, isn't this guy the worst person to pit for?
You know what? You know what? When I pitted for him, I did my perfect pitman job. It was fast pit stop and everything. And then it flames out. He was just yelling, "You filled it up too much. You filled it up too much." I said, "No, I did not. You didn't gas it. It was your fault."
There you go. Gotta accept responsibility.
Yeah, and he was saying about these excuses, and that's what he's doing. Excuses.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything wrong.
He probably went on about that, not filling that tank up for about a whole 5 minutes. And then in that 5 minutes, he blew out. If he would have fucking paid attention, he probably could have called him up. But no, he is so focused on you not fucking filling up his tank that he blew up. You know why I know this? Because I've heard you do this with others. Like when I didn't fill him up, we was at Sirloin. Shut up. Don't say nothing.
Is this the one-armed pit stop? Because I was right at that point.
SDRC, right? This guy is fully... Look, we're at Water Wars. He is the fastest guy there by far. He can flame out, come in, and still be good. Casey Peck was there. This is the height of the Drake JQ wars when you was going at Drake like hard, and Casey Peck was his boy running Mugen. You had like a whole lap lead on him after the first pit stop. Get somebody to help you. You can't do this one-armed. Casey Peck is going to catch me, you fucking idiot. Get somebody to help you.
I mean,
he went on about this to the next pit stop and then continued to blow out. Mike Hill told him at the time, the hay bale or the kern. Somebody hit a fucking kern at DNC and it flew out in front of you. You went on about that goddamn kern for like 5 laps and blew out in 5 laps. So you know what, JQ? Take your own fucking advice and stay in your fucking lane.
That's not about staying in the lane, but I like
euros. Plus 40 euros.
Yeah, 40 plus euros.
He was like yelling at him, and then he blew out completely.
Yeah, it's very hard.
On Hazelwood.
This is actually something that gets harder when you don't drive or race anymore as much. Really.
Sounds like excuses to me.
No, it's a fact. Cavalieri has the same issue. I can tell. If he needs more track time, then he won't have these blowouts.
He needs better engine.
This
also.
is
Hey, Pekko, what did this man just say about an hour ago about excuses?
Yeah, I know.
Sounds like a bunch of excuses coming out of your mouth right now.
there's a difference between like valid explanations and excuses. I'll prove it to you right now. I'll prove it to you right now. Lefty, you know how I could be better and not blow out like that? If I applied myself, prepared my equipment, and practiced more. But am I going to do that? No, because I don't want to. Now I want to race motocross and enjoy my life in other ways. Okay. So I'm not going to go there. I'm going to fucking accept defeat and some random flameouts at times and some bad driving because that time has passed. But I'm not going to accept that from Pekko because this is his time.
I agree with
There
that.
is a
But you
difference.
have to set an example.
It is true.
The leadership comes from the top. Set the example. Don't make excuses. Stay in your
Yeah,
fucking lane.
But it's not an excuse.
Right?
And this is not about staying in my lane.
It's always an excuse when it's not.
No,
it's always
it's
an excuse
just
when
reality.
somebody else.
Like
When it's you, it's
that-
never an
that
excuse.
analogy or whatever, it doesn't work here. Okay.
Oh, see, yeah, I'm sure it doesn't work here. Let's
Yeah, it
bring up
doesn't.
some of the other topics. Do we want to go into do you have some rants, more rants?
Not right now. I'm gonna
Oh, you
rant about
ranted
having
all
to go soon.
You had some that you brought up some topics here. Let me bring them up. Your usual topics. I'm surprised you haven't
I think we covered them.
no. You was talking about Asian races versus American races. The bigger picture you wanted me to talk about her. What was that? You never enlightened me. This
No,
is
I
when
think that was just many of the things we've spoken about where it's not about the thing, but the bigger picture.
Well, okay, here's something that I want to say. Last year, we kind of fucking dug into Joey about going over the cap and all that type of stuff. This year, he kept to the cap to an extent. The race looked comfortable. Looked like you guys were done at a decent time. The most I heard about people was that it was really dusty this year than other years.
I don't know why maybe they wanted to save money somewhere and didn't want to pay someone to water.
That's what it sounded like. They didn't want to pay somebody to water.
Yeah.
And I heard a lot of people left with really sick. That's honestly one of the reasons I don't like the race because you're always exposed to the dirt and all that stuff. The horse piss and shit, dirt. You are at all these arenas. I mean, I was sick after PNB. But it looked like a good race, except that Fuller ran away with it. Nobody was really no real contentions. And it seems like you had fun too, from what I heard. So, and no kerfuffle. It was a positive weekend for you. I see what happens when you go out there and don't be an asshole to an extent, or don't be a fool.
I think I was the same. I'm always.
You're not a full asshole. You still are
a medicated asshole.
Well,
medicated.
at some point, I'm getting you to see other people's ideas nowadays, and so that's a good thing, But I'm surprised you didn't go on the whole. I don't like this type of race because of this, and the Asian races are so much better. Well, you did. You said now the Asian race is getting too big.
think
you don't like it.
Part of it is being jaded. Part of it is accepting defeat in a way that our industry is this way. It could be a lot better, and it isn't because enough people don't back the change. So it's not really possible to change right now. Maybe one day. There have been a number of improvements, yes, but not enough. Let's put it that way. So then I have, in a sense, stopped caring and just accepted that this is where we are and just enjoy the good parts and the rest sort of ride motocross and do other things that are fun instead of caring too much about this. So like where before I would have been more personally invested in, like Fuller has put in all this effort and just did something amazing, and we have to go on S-Works Facebook to see it or this or that. Like yes, there's a bit of coverage, but not really. And he doesn't get the credit he deserves. And there's this thing that we spoke about, star power and all of that. I would have cared about it more. But we already fucking did that with RCGP and all of these different things that we've done. And it doesn't work because people don't care enough. They are happy with how things are now. So then I don't need to care either.
You know, I kind of came to the conclusion with races because we always complain about races and how they could be different or better. And I just come to accept that races in different countries are run different ways. And I was going to have this speech prepared for you, but you already said it. So I'm already good. I told you just a while ago, I accepted that. And I enjoyed that we have the races that we can go to them and we have these guys competing. That's what I like.
So now
and I enjoy going to them.
Yeah, now instead I'll just work on developing the car to something fun and cool. That's exciting enough. Have some good results, hopefully some wins, and then just be okay with that. That's enough. I don't give a fuck about the rest, and then go ride my dirt bike, and that can be additional fun. Where before I would want it to be better, like for everyone, not just myself. Now I don't, like I've stopped caring a bit. Accepted.
Well, you're enjoying life outside of RC too,
Yeah,
which I need to do. I need to do as well. Speaking of RCGP, that I shared that post the other day because you know what I realized that first season, which I consider to be the best season, was filmed in 2019. So that's 6 years ago, right? And we forget that because we talk about it so much, we feel like it was yesterday. And this came up because the guy was like, "We need a film like Driven. We need something like Driven to do RC and to promote RC." And I said, "Well, we have RCGP. Well, we need one relevant." I said, "No, it's relevant. What RCGP Driven series was relevant because it's relevant to getting new people in." And then I realized that there are people that have gotten into RC over the last 6 years that don't even know about RCGP.
Yeah.
And I'm introducing it to them and they're like, "Wow, this is awesome. Why didn't this happen? And why didn't this happen?" But things have changed in the industry. Let's put it this way. If it wasn't for RCGP, what I had at RC1, which was great, which I really did enjoy, was we had Aiden Horn freaking out over Taylor. We wouldn't have that now because RCGP paved the way for that to be okay. That plus, I think, this podcast and stuff like that. Like us accepting the drama and accepting that it's a part of RC and of racing and emotion, letting these guys be emotion. So in a way, RCGP has done a good job of letting these drivers become more emotional. And that side, they're starting to see, you heard Mayfield saying, we should be right there. There should be someone with a mic right in front of us as soon as we come off the driver's stand. And I was able to do that at RC1. And it's so much better, right? Because you get down there and you get the raw emotions of these guys as soon as they come off the track. And you saw the finger pointing and all that type of stuff. And people are like, "Well, that's what you care about." I said, "No, I care about it because these guys are passionate and there's money on the line for them. And we need to allow them to express that to an extent." So RCGP done that, in my opinion. Paved the way to make that okay.
Yeah, it's like for those things to happen, then initially enough people have to care for other reasons than money or short-term personal gain. And then once enough time has passed, then everyone benefits. But there aren't enough people who think that way for that to happen. And it's kind of evident from now the work I've done with Invisible Speed, where I've helped various different brands drivers like Michal Olovsky, Schumacher, or Reinhard Osmatics, or Ronne Falk and Hagberg for X-Ray. They are all competitors and they all worry about if I help this guy or who benefits this way or that way. Where I don't think that way so much. I'm just like individually helping people and not caring about the politics. So when RCGP happened and I was involved, everyone was thinking with their own brain. If I was JQ, I would do this. I would benefit this way. I would do that, right? I never did that. I did things which I spent time and money and effort helping other brands to the detriment of JQ Racing, if I would think in that sense, right? And that's something that I think most people just don't understand. And if they don't understand it, then you can't explain it to them. It's like telling Ongaro that hey, there's no reason to be mad right now. Like this was a good race, and it's good for the longevity of his career or whatever. Like trying to explain something like this when he's just focused on, I only care about me winning. That's the only thing I care about. Like I don't know. You cannot change that in people, and with such a small industry, there are very few people who have the mindset and the means to make some positive change. So it's not going to happen, unfortunately.
I think, and now you know what? I think you're a little bit too bitter. I think it's going to happen, just not in the way you think it's going to happen, and it's not going to be long. It's going to be 15 minutes of fame, and that's it. Because maybe I'm working a little bit closer to things like that, and I see the shift at races, and I see the shift and focus on different things. It just takes time, and it comes down to the super tanker analogy. When a super tanker decides to turn, first they have to make a turn, decide to make a turn, plot a turn, and then it takes 3 days to turn. So I think we're plotting a turn now. We decided to turn, we're plotting a turn, and we still got to actually execute the turn. That's the best analogy I have. But that comes from your persistence from people like that. Like many years from now, when things are different, which I think it will be, it will look back to things like these discussions that we've had and all that stuff. And I will admit this. I do wish to get back to doing some of the NNRC content at these races and go into particular races that I like. Like the 10 skill worlds is a race I would like to go to, right? And be there and be involved in it. And I think I definitely would like to plan for that in the new year, or maybe later on this year, as some races that I like to go to. But I'm already going to the Euros as a commentator, and I'm already supposed to go to the E-Buggy Worlds as a commentator. But we'll see what happens. I really wanted to get Max to one of those races to do NNRC content. So maybe that's something we can work on, right, Mr. Invisible Speed?
We need to get him a bicycle.
No, but Max does really good at that stuff. So we can kill. We're going to have intervention for Max too, by the way. That's coming up soon. You got to get him back to RC. Most definitely. Most definitely. Hey, anything you want to add? So you had a good time. Oh, one more thing, JQ. How did it feel to be back doing like California RC life for a week?
How did it feel? It was okay.
Did it feel different? Because you haven't done that for a while.
Honestly, I haven't wanted to travel really that much lately, but it was okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's next for you and Pekko then? Pekko, I see you're sending Pekko out to the nationals to also to scout, I would say, for the next upcoming worlds. Smart move.
Yeah.
That's actually a race I would have liked to have gone to as well. All right. Anything to add? We've been going for 2 hours and 43 minutes. I think that's long enough. You've wrenched them. You've had a little bit of a mini rant. Not as much as I thought you would do when you first started, but it was good catching up with you guys. Indonesia, JQ. Let's make it happen.
If you stay in your lane, do your thing.
I would come to Indonesia to do NNRC content. And a little vacation after Indonesia. Why don't we go to Indonesia and stay there for a few days afterwards?
Maybe, yeah. It's a good time for that.
Is it fairly cheap there?
Yeah.
Cheaper. Okay. So we can probably have a vacation afterwards for fairly cheap. Let's make that happen. /run. Let's make it happen, Mr. Invisible Speed. Hey, thank you for your time. Pekko, congratulations on your performances at SilverState and at Philippines. You won a lot of the hearts of people. You are constantly winning the hearts of people. Hopefully people know who you are. Somebody has to win the hearts of people because he isn't too good at it. And continue on with all your hard work. JQ, I know we didn't get onto the youth mentor program, but maybe we can have you on at another time to discuss that a little bit more. You have discussed it, but I have to say congratulations. It's going well. You're the only company doing this. I like it. Keep up the good work. It looks, obviously I'm dealing with Salty Joe and see what he's got there and what you've done in Australia. I saw a bunch of guys at the PMB. I look forward. We'll see each other at Euros, and then we'll probably see each other at Wicked Weekend. So
yeah,
I'm excited. I've never been to a Euros, so I'm excited to go there.
We still have a lot to do. Like we need to deliver on the promise, I feel, but I think we'll get it done. Like progress goes in waves. I had the book, a course, Mayako, the youth mentoring program. Now we need to make a big effort to deliver on the promise of everything. And that's why I'm also staying home, not traveling. And Pekko is going to nationals and some other races. So
the travel interrupts your work at home so much.
exactly.
I know.
I need to just be home for an extended period of time to actually get these things done. So that's why I'm here.
I understand you because it's 5 weeks of on the road. I just had no time to record myself or do anything. You got to catch up with all that stuff. So I get it. I want to thank you for your time. I had a great chat with you, Pekko. I had a great chat with JQ. I don't know when you'll be back. You're gonna be home, so maybe you could come on her a little bit more often as well. Once a month, when you feel like it. I'm not trying to pressure you.
Next month
gotta
it's
be-
possible. Only July looks very bad. Otherwise, it's all good.
Well, we're both traveling quite a lot in July. So
Yeah.
it's all good. But it's good to catch up with you. You are right, JQ. I do need to get back to making more NNRC content. I do want to do that. But at races that I really want to go to. So that's what I'm kind of saving it for as well.
Cool.
But glad you had a good time. Philippine Masters, would you recommend that? I recommend most people put it on their list of races to go. Looks like a good time. Looks like fun. With that said, Nitro's the glory. E-Buggy pays the bills. I want to say thank you to all the sponsors of the podcast. There's links for them in the written description. A big shout out to all the NNRC squad around the world. We can't do without you guys, the patrons of the NNRC. And don't forget, check out Invisible Speed, Mayako, if you want to do that as well. We have some affiliate links for Invisible Speed. I forgot to ask, is there any more focus on the course, or is that kind of because you've been traveling, or is that one of your focuses to getting back to while you're home?
Yeah, next week we have Mayako members meetings, then the youth mentoring program meetings. And for the course, I haven't had any live meetings for the sort of full course. There's a whole bunch of videos and live meetings from the past that are there. So there's still plenty of value, but I haven't had meetings for the course. It's been focused on the youth mentoring program where we also have coaching and live meetings. So that's that. So for now, I don't know when I will have meetings for the regular online course. But over the summer, we will have some with some guests.
Sweet. And I'm going to have to purchase myself another book from you because mine got destroyed to have up here in the studio. But like I said, congratulations. I see a lot of people with the book.
On-road is next. And I have to finish it by the end of the year because I said if I don't finish the on-road book by the end of the year, I'll pay Pekko's rent for a year.
You better finish it. Pekko, you better go find
That was a bad bet, but I know I need that level of motivation to actually get me to finish it. So on-road book and setup station is next.
And Truggy. Look forward to seeing that.
Yeah, of course.
You have accepted you are fucking Truggiest and E-Buggiest.
Yeah.
Yes, I. With that said, hey, Pekko, JQ, thank you for your time. I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. We are out.